Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, change. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Rich. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be absolutely amazing, guys, because we learned yesterday that Kraken is not only listing DOGE, but they will also be adding a bunch of other runes. This is exciting because this is what the Bitcoin and meme coins deserve. This is what the runes ecosystem deserves. We deserve to be listed on these major exchanges. Kraken is just the start, right? Kraken has also decided to list a whole bunch of, U.S. equities, meaning we're talking securities like Apple, Amazon, and so they're actually going to tokenize them. We'll get into that. But Bybit just did that, a couple of days ago. So it's kind of like Kraken and Bybit are competing. Do we see Bybit actually come in and add runes to kind of maybe throw some shade at Kraken and saying we can, you want to copy us, we'll copy you? Possibility, right? That's good for runes. I'm excited to be a part of the runes ecosystem. I'm excited to be a part of the Bitcoin ecosystem. But guys, we did notice Bitcoin itself, the king, when the king talks, you have to pay attention. He fell down yesterday this morning to about 107, bounced back to 109, but we were at 112 yesterday with a new all-time high. Exciting times right now. But just remember, the rich people, they do not buy rips. They don't buy rips. They wait. They're cool. They're calculated. They buy dips, and it does look like they bought this dip up, guys. I'm excited for this one, so let's get right into it. Bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up,
man? How's your brain working today? How are you doing today? How is everything? Are you kind of comprehending what is happening in the markets right now?
Yeah, it seems like, we had a little bit of a pullback with some headlines from a certain person. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. but in the previous couple, I would say like month and a half, Bitcoin's been able to kind of bulldoze through those tariff type of headlines. At first, it was very affected, and so was the macro financial economic environment and stuff. But Bitcoin's shown to be able to persevere through those type of headlines now, right? So I think that's a little bit of what we're seeing. Yes, we did see that pull back to low 108s, but now we're already back to kind of like that 1095, 1097. So I think we'll be okay. We might see a little bit of a downtrend today, but I think we'll, if this is our red day, I'll take it, right?
Yeah.
I think we kind of get back on track on Sunday, if not the second half of today.
Yeah, 100%. And when in doubt, you should definitely zoom out. So you take a look at this, right? It's like we had that downtrend from January, this complete breakout, up, up, up. Like it's just maybe we could get some sideways here, or we shoot straight up. I mean, that's the question I'm asking myself. Like I see two different things happening. I'm seeing maybe some sideways and then a pull up, or maybe we get potential just kind of just pull up from here. It's one of the two. Both of them are saying 120 by potentially by June. So I'm definitely excited. If not 150, 160, like the M2 money supply chart is showing. Let's jump over to our boy Colin Talks Cryptos chart here, and he's basically he's projecting a huge upward momentum here. So whether that's 125 or 110, or I'm sorry, 120, we will see. How do you feel with this chart right now, seeing what we've seen the last couple of days?
I feel like it's pretty on point. And the thing about the M2 money supply and Bitcoin tailing it, it's not going to follow it exactly to a T, right? So you're like, oh, well, it dipped here. Yeah, some of them do follow. You can see some of the days do follow, but some of them don't, right? They do kind of the inverse sometimes. If the M2 was higher, as you can see right there in the very start of that kind of highlighted area, Bitcoin was like the inverse of the M2 on that side and kind of the opposite. But the whole kind of, I guess, goal of using this is realizing that when you zoom out, they both have that upwards trajectory, right? So yeah, that's how I use it. That's how I see it. And I think today's okay to see a red day. And you have to remember too, like price action is very emotionally like charging, right? And so you'll see impulse, and if we go down like 3,000, but you have to remember what's been happening the past 2 weeks is Bitcoin might pull back, but then it pulls forward about $6,000 in like a day and a half, right? So I think you got to zoom out if you start to get worried again here.
Yeah, 100%. And the stock market is closed on Monday for U.S. holiday Memorial Day. So we do have a 3-day weekend ahead of us. We will be live on Monday, but what are you thinking happens going into kind of Tuesday? Do you think Monday we kind of get that like maybe we just go sideways all weekend? Is that a potential move?
I mean, Saturday I don't expect too much unless there's some major headlines or something, right? That's the only thing, and that would be world news probably most likely, or maybe like Sailor says something about hey, tomorrow's a big day, and hint or something like that, right? So I expect Saturday to be your typical kind of trader action day, and not a ton of volume, but just taking advantage of maybe scalping and stuff like that. So sideways with up and down trends all day, and then Sunday a big move. But Memorial Day being the fact that like TradFi is off, maybe there's a big move on Monday instead. It's maybe pushed back a little bit. I'm not sure, right? I can't remember the last time we had a 3-day holiday weekend because we don't get those. We and stuff like that. But I think whatever happens from today until let's say Monday, I think it's bad, good, whatever it like. I think you kind of just take that and put it aside a bit and say, okay, look, once we start getting the flow back of things on Tuesday, the conference is next week too. Don't get too emotionally affected by whatever happens from now until, I would even say, until like probably the end of the conference, right? Because sometimes we know that the conference keeps people busy and price action isn't really paid attention to as much. But I think we pick back up into this kind of trajectory that we've been following, and I do think we get to that goal of 130,000 by mid-June. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, let's talk about maybe a little shorter term. We do know that next week we're seeing Bitcoin Las Vegas Bitcoin conference, and typically Bitcoin conferences are buy the rumor, sell the news, the whole conference, right? Bitcoin usually runs up until the conference and dumps the entire conference with a bounce back that following week. Look into your inner Miss Cleo, your inner Nostradamus. But what happens next week? Do we get the same, or is this completely different? Just like how we're about to have a bullish summer, is this conference difference where we can actually be an impulse of a conference?
The previous conferences, I feel like people would try to use the excitement of the conference to be like get things going, like the price action. That's the difference of this conference. It's actually price action is bullish heading into it, like, and it has nothing to do with the conference at all. Like, there's no correlation to, hey, this is going to be a big Bitcoin conference in Vegas, and that's why price. No, so I can see, you know, just the excitement and energy and stuff, and Bitcoin's price trend continually going up. I think it would be a unique time of the year for Bitcoin's conference and Bitcoin to, you know, kind of be in this like celebratory time together. Because like you're right. Like every time, like once the conference happens, like Bitcoin's price does typically tank a bit, and then people aren't worried about it because they're not worried about it as much because they're just like partying and having fun in Miami is where it used to be, right, every year. So but I do think that there's a good shot that like you know, price action will stay positive, and people will be celebrating at the same time as Bitcoin's price going up.
So you're kind of saying what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking, you know, this time's different, right? That's what I'm kind of feeling here. With a bullish summer, a bullish conference. I mean, we had a terrible 5 months. I mean, you know what I mean? It's time to catch up. And then I think that all the old you know, catalysts or you know, downward trajectory for these conferences and for the summer are kind of reversed this time because we had such a crappy first 5 months. So
absolutely, that's what I was going to say, is that typically it slows down right before the conference, like maybe like 2 weeks before or a month before, but we usually have like a good spring, like early spring, late winter, and then, you know, slows down and everybody's like, oh man, the conference ruined it again. But it's the opposite. We've had an atrocious start of the year, spring, and now now we're just starting to pick up again. So
yeah. So if you go back to April 31st, you were buying coins at like, you know, all-time lows, a little results, right? Now, you know, with 23 days in May, now it's been very different. So hopefully that stays different. But let's jump into the main topic of today, and that's Kraken just opened the Rune gates. So I got a few things here. I'm gonna read through this, and then I'll get your opinion on this. So Kraken has confirmed plans to integrate native support for Bitcoin runes, a significant development that could enable the listing of any Rune token on its platform. By building a native support for Bitcoin runes, Kraken is not only expanding its assets offerings, but also endorsing the growth of decentralized finance, DeFi, on the Bitcoin network. For traders and investors, Kraken's move may signal a broader acceptance of Bitcoin native tokens, potentially leading to new trading pairs and investment opportunities within the Bitcoin ecosystem. And last thing here, Kraken's initiative to support Bitcoin runes marks a pivotal moment in the evolution of Bitcoin's utility beyond a store of value. This is all I've been getting. These are all kind of tweets and stuff I was grabbing from X, right? All different people, with majority of them kind of all agreeing that this is such a pivotal moment for runes and the Bitcoin ecosystem.
it is a pivotal moment because Kraken is an established brand. And they're strong in the US, right? And they're a US centralized exchange, and they're getting stronger with time here because now they don't have to, you know, dilly-dally with the whole SEC being nervous and doing all these things. They can go full port on, you know, what they feel like is you know, their business model plans and everything, right? So this is a really big step forward for the Bitcoin ecosystem, 100%. And especially the runes ecosystem, because them adding that infrastructure, indexers and stuff like that, it just opens the door for more acceptance within mainstream crypto, because that's what Kraken is. Kraken is a part of mainstream crypto, and I think that they're gonna, you know, right now they're probably top 3 in the US. You have Coinbase, maybe Gemini, and then them, but they're probably really close with that, right? And so you know, them doing this can, you know, maybe like your headline said there, give more acceptance to the other 2 big boys, right? And then the Eastern ones, I think it's going to take a little bit more. You know, maybe they see success with Kraken. Maybe Gemini starts adding. Coinbase is going to be tough too, but if they come on board, then I think for sure like Binance comes on board, right? But we'll see. This is a big step, and also this in 2023. the whole ordinals and Bitcoin fungible movement, this has been the strongest by far in terms of community support, in terms of I would say like industry effects too, you know, in terms of market caps and stuff. Back in 2023, like already got to 1.5 billion, sats got to 1 billion, and then you had the ordinals thriving. And so I think this is the best shot that the Bitcoin ecosystem's ever had, because meta protocols have existed before. They just weren't successful. They were too early. But this time, I think the timing is right, and you know, Kraken could be rolling the dice here and getting, you know, really good reward for it.
Yeah, 100%. And we talked about it. You know, why does Kraken want to do this? Well, let's just say a Binance user wants to buy dog. Right, he's going to open a Kraken account. Maybe he goes to Kraken and decides that's where he likes it now. That's where, you know, and if somewhere like Binance, that happens, you know, 10, 15 people, no problem. It happens to a couple hundred people. They got to start thinking, all right, let's not give them the opportunity to leave. Like, let's list what they want here. And that could be very significant, because then you can see dog get listed there, right? But what I'm kind of understanding from this, Kraken has built their own indexer. Kraken is not using Or.io's indexers, not using Magic Eden's indexer. They're not using anyone's indexer. They actually built their own. And this is something we've said on the show for a while. In last November, even when runes were running, that like maybe, you know, the reason why a lot of these exchanges haven't really, you know, listed anything, because they don't trust the indexers. They want to have their own. And it does seem like Kraken, at least over the last 7 months, have built their own indexers to support runes.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. You know, how they sync. Maybe they have like an oracle that makes sure that all the indexers, the major ones, are, you know, getting the right data, the same data and all that stuff. But yeah, that is big, because now they don't have to rely on anything else except for themselves. And you know, there was a post also about like Binance kind of building out Rune's infrastructure too. I want to say this was like a month ago from I think it was 21 Bitcoins was the X account 99. Or something like that. 99 Bitcoins. And they stated that without any like real follow-up, but supposedly they have a lot of credibility. So maybe this is like an industry-wide thing that's been kept a secret for a bit, and Kraken's the first to say, hey, we want to be vocal about it. So we'll see.
Here's the tweet here. Actually, yesterday, 99 Bitcoins came out and said dog meme coin on Bitcoin blast 21%. So 99 Bitcoins, who has an insane following on YouTube, you know, I think it's like over 700K or something like that. They've been big on dog. They've been big on Bitcoin meme coins. So, and you know, they came out, would you say, like a month ago?
Yeah.
And said that Binance is working on basically an indexer or getting ready to list runes. So Kraken might be front running Binance here, which could lead. Could you imagine that? Kraken list dog, Binance list dog, and then you see OKX and what is the other one? The one got hacked.
Bybit.
Yeah, Bybit come in and they. I mean, dude. I mean, this opens the door to, you know, tens of millions of new traders who have an opportunity to buy dog now.
Well, the interesting thing is one of those big ones actually announced that they're no longer supporting Rune's infrastructure. I forgot which one it was. I think it might have been Bybit.
It was Binance, but I think it was the Binance wallet.
Okay, and it was recent though. I want to say yesterday or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But we'll see. We'll see how this plays out in the adoption of it. It definitely makes acquiring Bitcoin tokens much easier for the normie, much easier for everybody, right? So
yeah. Well, let's talk about it then, right? We do know that dog's getting listed on Kraken, right? What's the next one? If you're sitting there and you're like, I need to get into this. I'm sitting on the sideline, right? And you're looking here and I'm on the 6 hour. Let's switch it back to the day. You're sitting here and you're seeing dog up 16%. You're seeing Fehu up 15%. You're seeing Mim down a little bit. You're seeing Pups up a little bit. So what would you be looking at here? Or maybe would you be interested in maybe doing a wide range of, you know, of getting a bunch of them?
I'm not sure what their approach is going to be, but if it is kind of selecting the next winner or whatever, then I'm sure they're going to go for community. And you got to probably choose between $1 Billion Cat, Pups, and Magic Internet Money. And if I were to give like a community effect, Billy wins that. They win that if you look at like the mentions, the you know, just kind of the energy, the meme creations and stuff like that. And I think Pups probably comes in second, but Magic Internet Money is building up. So all three of them, I think, most likely, if Kraken is very open to just saying, hey, we're gonna say, start adding multiple runes, all three of those get on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Eventually, right?
So Kraken's like, we're not gonna pick a winner. We're gonna add Billy, Pups, and Mim all around.
I'm not
20
sure
to
what
50
their
market cap.
strategy is going to be. I'm just saying eventually, like, I mean, 2 out of those 3 get on for sure. Probably all 3 because, Magic Internet Money, whenever it was a BRC20 and Wizard, its market cap was in the hundreds of millions, I believe, and so it can get there. It has that meme effect. It has the community. Pups is Pups. We know, like, I think all-time high was 200+ million. Billion-dollar cat all-time high is 155 million. So they all will drive volume for them. And so, I think what they're doing is embracing this community over here that has been a bit, shunned a little bit, where people are trying to figure out why, because like 2023 is such a big year for this ecosystem and community. And I think Kraken's saying, hey, you guys don't want to take that community up. We know that they are strong. They don't give up. We will take it up. And Kraken kind of needs a little bit of that because they've been suppressed fighting these legal battles with the SEC the past couple years. And so for them, I think it's a good opportunity of saying, hey, look, we're going to take this community on. We're going to thrive with them and use their energy and really kind of co-market this Bitcoin meme coin thing. And that'll be our thing. And then if it works, then, other centralized exchanges are going to be like, oh man, we need that volume too.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it might just not be about volume. It might be about people leaving to buy these coins, right? So that's what I'd be more afraid of if I was an exchange, for sure. Because I've done that. I've left Coinbase because I was Phantom on Crypto.com, and then I started using Crypto.com more than I was using Coinbase, right? So this is something that I have experience with, and I actually did. I'm going to ask you one more time to put on your Miss Cleo hat. How many runes, December 31st of this year, how many runes are listed on Kraken? 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. How many runes?
December 31st. I will say 0 to 10, but probably between 7 and 10, I think, at that point. Okay. Because if it's successful, if the rollout's successful, then I think that they shoot for utility plays, 1 or 2, whether that's Liquidium, maybe they add something that starts to really grow aggressively, something like Fluid maybe, or another, there will probably see more at that point. We'll have the Emblem founder vault rune as well, and some other ones as well, right? So you're talking about December of this year, we could have 7 to 10 on there, but I think a lot of them are going to be those community ones. And if that starts to get going, this could be a really big moment, because then at that point, you're really establishing the standard. You're saying, okay, the standard is accepted across the board now, or at least, at a major centralized exchange, co-marketing. Magic Eden's going to be doing their thing. Arch will already have been launched with their infrastructure with runes. So, I think runes is going to be one of those sleeper plays that everybody fudded because the launch didn't go well and it was dormant for a long time. And I get it, but a lot of times those are the ones that end up coming back and winning big. So,
100%. So, I have one last question on this, and we'll move along. So, there hasn't been a rune mint in a long time that actually been successful, right? Probably the last one was probably like Gizmo or back in that era, right? What do you think there's a coin in December 31st that's listed on Kraken that does not exist yet? So my question is, should I be looking right now into the mempool and seeing what's minting right now, potentially to get 100x opportunity?
I think there will be, but I also think that, like, we're not taking into account that there are mints happening, but they're not the traditional way that we used to do it. You know what I mean? And I don't say like mints like free and fair like it used to be. I'm talking about like Odin.fun and stuff like that, because those are happening on layer 1, right?
Yeah.
So I think some of those go on possibly have an opportunity. Now, what I think is that Kraken will only receive is the rune standard ones, right? So they're going to grab the supply from Bitcoin layer 1 and store it there. But like, this is where things can get really interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're saying, okay, Odin Dog is, let's just say for an example, Odin Dog's pushing, let's say they're that community is like, we want to get this listed. Let's get it to like $30 million market cap. And then like they put it in front of Kraken. Kraken's like, well, you guys are doing the volume. Do you have the setup for us to onboard it? And what does the look like for the supply that Odin holds and all this stuff, right? So, and then same thing with Arch, right? They have Funky Bit and just Saturn and all these things. So that's where it can get kind of that snowball effect can really start to grow. And I think at that point, dude, like the ecosystem, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe not be looking into mempool, maybe looking on some of these launch pads for opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that the OGs are like, they'll still like promote like, some launches in the mempool and on layer 1 as well. But there'll be some big ones that come out of there. But there's going to be big opportunities to come out from multiple places.
But doing it in Odin, the money doesn't go to the miners; it goes to the liquidity pool, which is the benefit to the Rune creator, right? Or the Rune buyers and holders. So yeah, I mean, maybe that's the new way of doing runes. Maybe the mempool is for alkanes only at this point, but we'll see. Until Odin actually maybe they add alkanes. Who knows? And do it there. That could be interesting. Yeah. But let's move along here. So if you're just waking up this morning and you're seeing Bitcoin drop from the 112 that it was at last night to about 109, you might be wondering what happened. Let's kind of get into it. So President Trump came out this morning, recommends a 50% tariff on the European Union or the EU starting June 1st. So there's a couple words in here that stand out: recommends and June 1st. He put a date on it. That was that's why the market's dropped, right? So if he just came out and he recommended a 50% tariff, people were like, is he doing this shit again? Is he about to tariff the market again like he did in February and March? And but it does look like he kind of torpedoed, or he put a stop on the Bitcoin a little bit on the price action. But we did see the ES and the Dow kind of drop on this news as well. They haven't really ran though. So the S&P 500 has been really quiet. The Dow has been really quiet. Everything's really been really quiet except the crypto ecosystem. What's your take on this? President Trump potentially back in his tariff mode.
I don't like it, but he knows what this is going to do to the market. That's the thing, is that he complains about Jerome Powell and how he needs to cut rates and stuff, but he knows by making this type of statement that it's going to pull markets back. And so to me, I don't like that, right? That's how I feel about it, plain and simple. And so if he's serious about it and this is something that he thinks that is going to really help this negotiation, then I guess, but this creates so much volatility, right? And so that's not good. So that's how I feel about it, man. I hope this kind of tactic just goes away. That's what I want.
Yeah, no, I agree. He did come out and say Trump iPhones not made in the US will face 25% tariff. I mean, that's a tariff on Apple itself, right? He said iPhones. He didn't say phones. So that kind of stuff. But so
it's because they actually moved their operations to India. So
yeah, for sure. So last night there was a Trump coin dinner. If you hold a certain amount of Trump coin, you were eligible for this dinner. Justin Sun was there. He's the largest holder of Trump coin, and a bunch of other Trump holders. A lot of Solana guys were there. Do you think there's any chance that they were like, "Hey, man, like we need an opportunity to get back in here. Would you mind saying the word tariff for us?" Do you think anything like that happened? Any corruption happened at this dinner last night?
I hope not. That would be horrible. I don't want to see no proof of that. That would crash the market, like for sure. But I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure he was like himself joking around with all this stuff, but and saying we're gonna do very well and all these things, and let's just keep Bitcoin on the same trajectory that it's been, right? Let's keep it going. And obviously pullbacks are normal, but when they're manufactured, it doesn't feel great.
No. And they say, you're not in a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money, right? So let's kind of see what happens right now. If we can kind of get a telltale if we're in a bull market or not, if we can kind of rebound real quickly and head back up to that 112, 115 range, but we'll see. So after that, over 300 in the first hour of that, over 300 million liquidated from the crypto market in 60 minutes, right? This was a quote I got this morning. 60 minutes, $300 million liquidated. Who makes money in those liquidation moments?
Whales that short. I know where you're trying to go with this,
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Could this been the exchange is using the Trump thing as an excuse to just look at the order book and just torch all the leverage traders.
100,000%, man. They
Yeah.
send the orders to Wintermute and their goons, and they go to town, right? I mean, that's how they make their. That's why I'm excited for our industry to hopefully welcome in options products in the future, because like I want to be able to choose if I want to do leverage or options. I'm more comfortable with options, but anyways, this is a business model, and this is how it works. This is how the game works right now, right?
Yeah.
And you just got to be smart enough to know that you can't even know, man. Like how you gonna know? Like how you gonna know? Like the headline comes out, you're right in the middle of a play, and so, but you just gotta I guess just constantly be on top of news headlines. Just get out when you feel like something fishy's happening, all that type of stuff.
Speaking of something fishy happening, an hour before the news about the 50% tariff on the EU, a whale deposited $4 million USDC into HyperLiquid, a decentralized leverage platform, and opened a Bitcoin short with 15x leverage. And before I get you the answer to this, Danny boy, we talked about your HyperLiquid, all right, buddy? We talked about it. But go ahead. What do you think about an hour before Trump's news?
I like it. Yeah, like what can I say here? I don't like it, but this type of stuff has been going on in TradFi forever. It's just a lot more masked, right? Masked, and so it's just now it's just kind of out there in the open, like no trying to hide it. I guess I'd rather them not just be in the open than like hiding behind like Citadel securities and all this stuff, like so look. and that is one good thing I would say about crypto, is that we have the best like data on-chain sleuths. So as soon as it happens, bam, it's going on crypto Twitter, everybody talks about it, and you know what, they probably follow it and say, hey, look, there's a big move coming. So it could be a good indicator for the public.
Should I screenshot this address and post it in HyperLiquid scan and start following this guy?
Yeah, or just set notifications for the whale watchers that watch the HyperLiquid whales, right? Like how many headlines have we heard so far since January 1st of this year? That I would say major ones at least probably four different times, I think. And so maybe it's time to kind of just start paying attention to those.
Yeah, for sure. And then following
for a short period of time, though. It's not like I'm not saying swing trade or anything like that with that.
The problem is finding the right people to follow, because like I saw this 2 hours too late, right? Like it was already like it was already suspicious at the time that we see it, right? So how do we get that upper advantage? How I guess HyperLiquid scan, right? I mean
that, and you got to be a smart person that's persistent, like Mr. BRC, that has systems that have systems have systems, and they just alarms are set off, and he's like, oh, okay, but it is that it's really just kind of being really tied into your system, and having notifications of being tipped off and stuff like that. Look, the people that are really really good at trading have those type of systems, and it's not just leverage trading. Like the ones that are in the trenches in Solana and stuff, they have their systems too. So that always helps when you have a toolbox.
That is true. Kraken to launch 50 plus tokenized stocks and ETFs, including Apple, Tesla, and Nvidia, enabling 24/7 trading outside the US. So this won't be available for the US users, but for the people who have a VPN on, or the people, I don't know if VPN will work on Kraken because you do have to KYC. But the people outside the US will have be able to buy all this stuff on Kraken.
I think this is actually good for the smaller, less fortunate countries and their population, right? Because there's some very very smart people in those countries that can do well in trading assets, financial assets, right? And so the Thailands, the Indias, right? Like there's a lot of and maybe they can stop using their intelligence for like scamming and start actually like learning how to trade and making a better life for themselves. So I think this is really good for the overall like world. also, I think this is good because, now that like Doge found all the fraud, waste, and abuse, and a lot of that our taxpayer funds were being supposedly like recycled into the stock market. I guess if you're a trader or you have a portfolio dabble, you're happy about that. But now that's taken away, and this can kind of bring some more liquidity from other countries. I don't know. You got to replace the fake pumps, right?
Well, I mean, the best part about this, right, is like, let's say you're in Apple, right, and you're buying Apple, and you're seeing like, oh wow, you know what, I want to get some Bitcoin. Like right now, you'd have to buy the ETF, right? You couldn't buy actual Bitcoin, so that may be like, nah, you know what, I'm gonna just stick with my Apple. But now, if you're already on Kraken and you own Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, you can be like, all right, you know what, I'm selling this, getting in the crypto. So, or maybe there's a new coin that you're interested in, and instead of transferring that money from your E-Trade or wherever you trade and then put it into a crypto account. Now it's just making it easier, basically. So I don't know. I don't think this is a big deal, but I do like the Kraken.
I think it's a big deal for other countries, though.
Yeah,
okay. because like countries like India, they're huge on the caste system, and the caste system is basically like, classes, right? So like if your generations have been in the lower class, dude, it's almost next to impossible to get out, right? And so that's I mean, it's also the most populated country in the world. So that's why a lot of times their infrastructure is not, in my personal opinion, it's not the best, right? But what this could do is help some of those people that have been stuck in that caste system, that have that are smart and have access to internet and teach themselves, and maybe they get into like companies early and stuff like that, and get them and their families out of that caste system. So that's where I think this could be really, really interesting. So they probably don't have very much money to start with, so that would be another problem.
Wormhole announces strategic integration to bring Doge to Solana using its native tokens transfers NTT framework and zero knowledge proofs. So they Wormhole has brought Bitcoin there, and now it's about to bring Doge. What do you think? Is this good for Doge to be trading on Solana with everything else?
I mean, a lot of people are bridging or wormholing tokens to Solana. Look, Doge is big. It has the branding, and so that's cool, I guess. Like, who's going to really use it though? We'll see. Maybe there'll be some sort of like chain to chain community building, kind of like what the Bitcoin ecosystem has been doing a little bit slowly with the Cardano side and the ICP side. But we'll see if this becomes something really.
Right now, if you want to hold Doge, you're holding it on, an exchange, right? Most people who hold Doge on exchange,
or a Doge
I don't
wallet.
know anyone with a Doge wallet though, right?
I have one.
Well,
and I have.
Well, you're the only person
there.
I know with it. I mean, but like you're not like a Doge whale, right? If you're a Doge whale, you're gonna hold it in the safer places because you don't. I mean, do you trust the Doge wallet? Like,
I mean, self-sovereign, right? That's the
that's kind of what I'm going with this.
But
So with Phantom, very trusted. Wormhole, very trusted. Buying, let's just say you are somebody who wants Doge, but you just don't want to go to an exchange. Now you have an opportunity to do it through your Phantom wallet. So that's the one big thing I got from this, right? So.
Yeah, that's a use case for this.
Yeah. All right. Last thing here before we get into fear and greed. Bitwise CIO Matt Hugan says Genius Act advancement could trigger multi-year crypto rally. Major boost for ETH, Sol, Uni, and AAVE. What do you think about a multi-year crypto rally?
I would love it. It'd be glorious.
Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, the Genius Act. So it's like the smaller regulation for the stable coins, right? So anything under $10 billion, if I'm correct, would flow into the Genius Act. So anything above 10 billion has to go to this stablecoin act. That's going to be more of a federal regulation. So I think the reason why they wanted to get this approved is because there's more flexibility with it, right? Meaning that you can get a little bit more risky probably and have more unique and versatile products. And so I think that's probably what could go into this, is that saying, hey, look, there's going to be a lot of, like product options for people that are going to be, in this kind of sector that falls into this Genius Act. So I want to dive deeper into that, because I want to see where, where's his angle here to say that this would cause that, right? Why would this trigger that?
So this is what I think he's thinking. So I think we're about to see $1 trillion worth of stable coins come onto the market, right? About probably a couple trillion, if being say 1 trillion for a guarantee 1 trillion in the stable coins comes into the market in the next couple of years, right? So where's those stable coins going to go? They're going to go places like Uni, where you can put stable coins together and get yield, right? Or maybe ETH stable coin. The Uni is going to be a really big place that a lot of these stable coins go. AAVE is another. AAVE is another because you can take loans out on your crypto using and getting stable coins for that, right? AAVE is borrowing and lending. You can actually put up your stable coins and actually earn yield on them, right? So what that's going to do is that's going to cause ETH TVL to go a lot higher. And I'm saying ETH because ETH is the most decentralized. ETH is like the most trusted right now, right? Like if I had $1 billion of stable coins, I would go ETH before I went Solana or Sui, because we know how centralized they can be. So in that sense, right? So I think the safest place to do DeFi is Ethereum. So I think Ethereum's TVL is about to absolutely explode into the trillions because of these stable coins.
And I think that's a good point that a lot of people aren't thinking about right now. Crypto Twitter and the degens that are here frequently, they're so focused on the now and the instant gratification that these people that are making these type of statements, they're used to the, hey, 30-year loan term, we're gonna make like 5% interest or 4% interest on that. That's amazing. And if they do that with multiple different deals, then that adds up, right? And so they're all looking at like long-term gain here. And I think that's a great point that you made, that could really uplift Ethereum. And then people are gonna be like, oh, I didn't even see this coming. It's because you were so used to like what the next, shitcoin was gonna be that's rolling out today, right? So
think of it. If you can make 5% on $1 billion, right? Let's just say you put USDC and USDT in a pool, right? You make 5%, right? I mean, you can live an amazing lifestyle off 5% of that, even if you're a billionaire already, right? Or even $1 million. I mean, you can make $50,000 off 5% of $1 million in stable coins, right? You can have someone's yearly check, to you, and that's just one of your incomes, right? You still have all your time. So, I mean, I'm seeing trillions of dollars coming into DeFi because of the Stablecoin Act.
Yeah, and this is obviously like the opportunity is going to be there because it's early in terms of like the profit share has not been sliced 6 times. So now your interest earned is now down to like 2%. You know what I mean? So
definitely going to happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean that could take like 5 years though. I think they're going to try to fast track that however they can. But I think the people that get involved early, there's going to be a lot of wealthy people that I think that take advantage of it early, especially. You know what I mean? So,
and banks, think about USDC and USD1. They're sitting there like, you're gonna give me 5% on this? Like, what? You know what I mean? That now they have an opportunity to play now for the first time ever.
And also they're like salivating at the mouth, because who's the easiest people to get into signing up for this with their own fiat? It's the normies, right? Now the normies, all they need is to give them something better than they have now, which is not going to be too hard. Yeah,
1% is better than what they have now. So we'll see. And the bank can take money off that, right? Hey, we'll invest your money for you. We'll invest your cash in a risk-free environment.
They're going to be the opportunity. They're going to be the opportunity because it's going to be better than what their traditional interest earned is, and they still will be able to make their probably close to what they make now. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. So to wrap that up, multi-year crypto rally is happening.
Hopefully, that would be cool.
Yeah, man. Let's get into the crypto fear and greed. It is off today because I do not feel like we are this high. So yesterday was a 73. Last week was a 69. Based off that 73, we're just a few points higher than that, but it feels a little greedier than I would think.
76.
Right on, yeah, right there. So 76 on the crypto fear and greed here. I feel like we're more in the 60s though, right? With the dump we had this morning.
Yeah, but we're still at 109.5. It feels worse.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
we're all time high. I mean, from last week. So
Exactly, right. And so we'll see how strong this money supply I guess catalyst can continually push this momentum, right? I think it's going to continually push it. We've seen that the past couple weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, to where Bitcoin's been able to push through a lot of these
Yeah.
headlines that should have, sank it like at least $5,000, $6,000 over a day and a half, and it would like bounce back every single time, right? So
Yeah.
pretty cool. I think we're in a good spot. Let's see if it can continue.
Yep. But let's jump into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're doing amazing things, guys. They're about to launch their mainnet very soon. They're going to be launching on Hemi first. Hemi is backed by Binance. By using Artura.finance, you will potentially be able to grind out some airdrops from Artura and maybe some from Hemi. I think getting that Hemi token, especially for free, is a major opportunity because I'm very bullish on what they're building over there. But not only will they be launching on Hemi, but maybe a few weeks after Hemi, they're going to be on Botonics. Botonics is the spider chain. I'm not sure what Botonics is going to do. Rumor is they do not have a token, but they will incentivize in other ways. Who knows, guys? You might be getting some USD for making some trades, right? So I don't know how they're going to do it, but apparently they're going to incentivize it somehow. And by using Artura, you'll be getting the Artura airdrop, but also maybe even some type of incentive from Botonics. Really excited for these two chains and really excited for Artura.finance.
Yes. And before we get into the price action here, guys, help us out by smashing that like on the YouTube side, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. And then on X, let's share the space, guys. Let's get as many people in here as possible, educate them, and get more people onboarded. And then on Abstract too, if you wouldn't mind sharing that stream, we'd greatly appreciate it. But let's jump into some Bitcoin price action here. And for the people that are new watching, we just do this kind of at a high level. It's not like in-depth TA or anything like that. Just kind of see maybe where Bitcoin's trying to take us today. And we already know that, we've had that big dump from the headlines, but then we are starting to recover here. So I always start with the hour chart because that gives us a little bit of a 4 to 8 hour forecast window here. You can see the Bollinger Bands, right? It started to tighten. That probably should have been a hint there, but you can see like when we came up here, we were just choppy sideways, and then once it started to tighten, we're like, okay, what is that? Something happening here? And then typically you're waiting for that volatile move. Unfortunately, it was a headline that kind of created it, but at least you had a little bit of a heads up here. Sometimes it takes a while, right? And you'll see like some aggressive stuff, but it'll be choppy back and forth, and then bam. So that's what we saw here. You can see that dump going from 111 to all the way that this wick got really low over here. It got to 107.3, right? And now we have worked our way back to 109.470. So I think we're okay. I think we're looking fine here. Let me squeeze this in a little bit, but you could see the stochastics because these leading indicators, whenever there's like a headline or there's this volatility caused by like the administration announcing stuff, like the leading indicators, they kind of, you gotta be, they're not as relevant in my opinion, because it was a big move based off of an event. So but now that it's settled down, we can kind of see how long we've been down here. So we have been on the hour chart really kind of bouncing up in and out of oversold territory since yesterday at 9 a.m. right? So on the hour chart, we really haven't had an aggressive upswing since 9 a.m. yesterday Central Time. And so we've been really hanging down here. So how much longer do we need to be down here? I'm not sure. But, there's been multiple times where we thought we were going to come out, see these weak points here. But we, after this big aggressive dump down, you saw it get aggressive here on the MACD. But now it's starting to weaken again. Do we get another fake out to the upside? We'll see. But it looks like, it's another attempt at heading back out of oversold territory and getting out of sell pressure. We'll see if this can sustain. I think we got to get back to 111 for this to happen. But first, we got to get to 110 because we're at 109.4. So let's kind of see how the next hour, 2 hours plays out. And that'll give us a lot more, I guess, lot more clue into where we're heading here for the rest of today. So, it does seem like we want to bounce back, and we did have that big wick here. So this did spread open though. So, you know, this is now the volatility, maybe not expect as much, but what happens, what I've noticed is once this kind of spreads open, there's a lot of choppiness, but sometimes you work your way back opposite of where you came, right? It's not one big volatile move. It's kind of working back up and then sideways, and it tightens and then a big move. So we'll see. All right, so that is the hour chart. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart just kind of started not long ago, actually, getting into sell pressure on the MACD. So looks like it was 3 a.m. Central Time. So, you know, we would need a pretty aggressive, I think, like, or consistent push up from that shorter time frame that we just took a look at to kind of get out of this. But I've seen it happen multiple times where we don't stay in one side or the other. So we'll see you know, how the hour chart plays out, and that'll give us a little bit of a view of how the rest of today and probably Sunday, tomorrow and Sunday, maybe even Monday, because Monday's off, will go. So we're okay, guys. Look, it's not one of those continuous bleed outs. You remember those? Those were painful. We're talking summer of 2024, you know, and then early this year, right? So that's a good thing, is that we're not seeing those consistent like bleed outs. The weekly chart still looks good. We're still in the green, because I said, you know, like I said, we're still at 109. We're above 109, so this looks good. The setup looks good here. I think we'll be fine. We'll see how we end on Sunday. As long as we don't have like a bad, like really bloody second half of today, I think we'll be okay. So yep, setup still looks really great on the weekly. I think, you know, we'll continue this even if we do have a pullback. Let's say we go back to like 107 on Sunday. We finish that with a red candle, and you know, I do think we continue on. We follow that M2 money supply, and I think we still get some of these catalysts following through. But yeah, that is Bitcoin on the weekly. Now, this is the others weekly chart, which is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10. So we're still looking okay here too, right? This is the weekly chart. So this is a weekly candle. So this could, you know, go the opposite, but it's holding up decent right now. We'll see if Bitcoin can kind of reverse and keep this stronger. But we did move back below the 50-day EMA, as you can see here. So love to get back above that. But we're not far from it. So that can be easily achieved there. But yeah, I think the alts look okay. Honestly, this probably the crypto bubbles are going to look red today, but I think from like a bigger time frame, I think we're okay right now. All right, let's see here. Let's take a look at the crypto bubble. And like I said, the daily, I knew this was going to be bloody. This is actually 100 through 200. Let's take a look at the 1 through 100. So yeah, it's about 85% pullback altogether here. Not pretty, but could be all red, and it's not all red, right? We have seen all red. We've seen all red. Go ahead.
No, I was saying you're seeing hype up. Do you think that's because of the liquidations?
I think it's probably because of their amazing tokenomics. Yeah. I mean, guys, like right now, there's probably the open interest is probably really, really big, right, in terms of the leverage trading. And so, what HyperLiquid has worked into their tokenomics is they utilize a portion of their fees they earn to buy back to keep the token strong. I think that's brilliant, because it gives people confidence in your token, right? So, you see that at up 9.7%. Pith is up 3.8%. Fartcoin is up 2.4%. I think we have a recovery in the works.
Yeah, right? Man. Well, what do you think about Trump being down 12%?
I think people are mad
because that was the dinner yesterday. Was it the dinner yesterday? They're like, "Oh, you know what? I got the dinner, now I can dump."
I don't know. I think it's just volatility. Like, Solana's not doing great, by the way. Like the ecosystem.
Yeah.
If whoever's watching right now, like the ecosystem over there is like, dude, it's bad. It's toxic. Yeah. And it's not just toxic. It's just so. It reminds me of like when Ethereum in 2021 was like at the worst like toxicity. That's where Solana is right now, dude. You have people coming in. Style. Yeah. Well, you have people coming in like with like actual LinkedIn's and people like investing like $20 million in their Web2 business, and it's legitimate. They'll launch a coin. Everybody's like has confidence in them, and then they ghost. They like take their Twitter account away, and it's like, what? Are we going backwards in time? But yeah, so I think that probably shows that there's opportunity for some of these other ecosystems, like the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? Because one thing about the Bitcoin ecosystem, yes, there are some grifters and stuff like that, but if you average it out, there's a lot more that hang around and show their face and are more involved and come on our show and try to get involved with the community and stuff. So
yeah, 100%.
Anything stick out to you here? Virtual's up 5.6%.
Virtual's up a little bit, yeah, for the virgins. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's very. I was kind of expecting all this. So,
Dog up 13.2%. Let's go.
Dog,
representing.
Yeah. Mudang as well. Mudang and Dog running together.
Yep. Mudang and Dog. But yeah, that's what the alts look like, guys. But I wouldn't be too worried about this. Look, it could be way worse, right? It could be way worse, and I think this will be temporary. And we pick things back up soon. So let's see.
Yeah, man. Let's jump into the roll call here on the show. First is first. If you don't know, now you know. Let me show my screen here. So if you don't know what this is, it's kind of I could basically break it down for you guys. So every day we put one name on the list. That name is that first comment of the day, and that first comment of the day today was my man Lackey Lukey. Shout out to you, my friend. You have victory number 18 on the year, but guys, this is anyone's game. I keep saying it because it's very true. We have over 100 days left. I mean, it's gonna be tough to beat these guys because these guys are dedicated, but there's still an opportunity, and we might do something for you guys who make the list as well. We're still talking about second and third place as well, but we're gonna get all that to you guys probably by September, and we'll let you know. But I think just making the list one time could be beneficial for you guys, no matter if it's some type of pass or something. We'll give away. We'll make sure everyone that gets on this list. We'll make sure that you guys do get something because it is a big deal. So get on the list, guys. And then let's kind of get into roll call here. ASAP Benji with that third spot. Like Luke said, it was close. Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. And then a couple X comments. We got Dade says it was OKX, but they deleted the post after Kraken listed Dog.
Wow.
So OKX was that, and then they're like, "Oh crap, we made a mistake."
Dude, that's crazy.
If you buy runes on OKX, because I have, all they do is aggregate it to Magic Eden.
Yeah, but they deleted it after Kraken put their post out. That's that's crazy.
They're like, whoops, made a mistake. Dade also says that Solana just flipped Binance. How do you feel about Solana being the third largest crypto behind the ETH?
I mean, yeah, they still are doing tons of volume, but I'm just telling you, the health of what I've seen, and
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that's that's all I can say.
Matt says, take a break, Lackey. Lackey says, on-chain and YouTube degens, Matt's. Danny Boy is here. Shout out to Danny Boy. He said, it's a lot of work getting first. I'm sure it is, dude. You have to, know exactly when Yagobi's about to post that. And we do it all different times, and not on purpose, just for the fact that we get busy after the show. Yeah. Nighthawk says, GM. Mercy has been expressed to all, beginning with Lackey. Enjoy today because Monday is ours. Oops, I mean Danny Boy. Rar. What are you guys splitting the frog?
Dude, Nighthawk, man, I gotta hand it to him. He's got that sales skills there. He worked his way into that.
Yeah, man, 100%. Lackey Lukey says LFG. Nighthawk crazy. So Wolves lost. Yeah, I actually watched a little bit of that game. The MVP was he was on fire.
Yeah.
But let's jump the rest of this. Danny Boy again, Lackey Lukey, and then we have let's see, Glasshopper says been sick lately, but feeling better. We hope you feel better, buddy. Get back to 100%. Nabob is here. Mempool Punk is here. Bitmap Capital. Ordinal's Tweets is here. Shout out to Ordinal's Tweets. He says pure love. Chief Axel is here. Shout out to Chief Axel. Chota Satoshi is here. Let's effing go. Mr. Sheedy says, what's up, guys? Hope everyone is having a great day. It was a great day until Trump pissed in my coffee. Kai Effect is here. Shout out to Kai Effect. Let's see. Kai Effect says Bitcoin dominance is starting to dip. Altcoin season might be here. I just looked at it. Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 64. So I don't know
60,
about that, buddy.
Yeah, 63.98. Same shit.
Yeah. Mr. Sheedy says, did this pullback count as a retest? If we move up, I would think bigger time frames need a retest of all-time high. What do you think?
Man, I didn't expect it to come so early. Yeah. And plus I don't know. It's actually, it depends on how low we go here, right?
Yeah.
I think what would it show, low 108s? To me, that's Yeah, it is about almost a $4,000 swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I don't think it's a big retest if it is one, and we're about to find out if it's just going to be choppy here, because it is heading back down right now. But if this is more of chop with like a slight up or downtrend, I'm okay with that. But if it's another big leg down, that's, to me, I think that's like a full on retest, and we got to figure out where it's going to find the floor at.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, we'll see. I think the next couple of days will definitely be telling. We'll find out everything we need to know and kind of know that we're going up next week. That's what I'm thinking. But guys, it is 12 o'clock on a Friday, and every 12 o'clock on a Friday, we have our great friends at Fluid. Sometimes we do a Fluid Friday without them, but today we are lucky enough to have the amazing Raul joining us. Raul is FluidTokens guy, the CTO over there. They're actually building some pretty amazing stuff. We know they had the lending. We know they had the staking. Now they have an airdrop tool. But we don't know much about Aquarium. We're going to dig into that a little bit today. And we're going to get into where on earth is Raul, because the guy's been a world traveler over the last couple of weeks. So looking forward to this. So without further ado, bring him up. Raul, welcome back to OnChain Revolution.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Well, I am currently in LA visiting some relatives before going back home. And next week there is a Bitcoin conference. FluidTokens team is going to be there, me and my co-founder. So it's going to be great for sure.
Wow. So like you gotta fly all the way across the world and then across the world again. Are you gonna have like a day or two to go relax in between?
Yeah, I will arrive on Saturday, so that weekend is going to be like my recharging days.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then back to work, probably jet lagged a bit, but from Monday.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about the reason why you're in California to begin with. There's a thing called Draper University, and you guys actually got accepted to that. Could you kind of go into that and kind of tell us what that is all about?
Yes, sure. So in April, we got the notification that FluidTokens was accepted in this acceleration program at Draper University. Basically, they provide accommodation, and for 5 weeks they were giving education on how to make our product not just attractive to user, but also to possible investors. And at the end of this program, we were pitching the project in front of Team Draper in person. So that was so cool. And he even asked, actually, we have, I think, in the Web3 space, this idea that investors don't know that much and they delegate the work to someone else to understand if a startup is worth or not. But BitDraper is a very OG Bitcoin guy. Like he was able to purchase Bitcoin at I think $400, and he has like a whale, literally a whale of Bitcoin. So he knows absolutely what are the risks involved when you want to play with your Bitcoin. He doesn't want to lose them. So the question that he asked a lot were about, okay, but I want to get yield on my Bitcoin without having risk, because I'm not going to risk all my Bitcoins just for a 5% APY. You understand that doesn't make sense. And yeah, we reply and say that FluidTokens, all the ethos and the vision behind FluidToken is to keep everything not custodial. So we can never touch your assets, your Bitcoin, and even for the more degens guys, your runes, your ordinals are always under your own control. So this was the experience. We finished the program actually this week on Monday. And actually the time passed very, very fast. The first weeks, it was going slow, and then it was wow, already fifth week.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. What are some of the things that you've learned that maybe you can help out like someone who hasn't gone through that experience?
So I think that many times we build a product and we release it without even asking to people what, first of all, if they need it, and second, feedbacks regarding maybe the interface, something that maybe they would like to have, something that they don't like in the process, and that I think that is very valuable. We have been doing some questionnaires for our community to understand where we can improve, what we can add in the FluidTokens platform, and that's for sure one thing. And second thing is to sometimes we overestimate the technical capacity of our audience. So we think that all of them will understand maybe what is a OPCAT or something, I don't know, a Bitcoin script or something like this. But sometimes they don't. So we have to keep it very, very simple uh, without, of course, losing the concept and the main core aspect of what is the protocol and what are the main important process. And because at the end of the day, you would, when you speak with someone, you want them to make them to understand as much as possible. So if I'm speaking with you guys, I can use OPCAT and all the other terms because you are in the trench. But if I speak with someone that is investing in Bitcoin, maybe, but in a higher level, they don't know what is OPCAT.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea. So I will have to use terms that maybe are better for them, like instead of using Bitcoin yield or DeFi, using Bitcoin dividends, something that they maybe can catch easily.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably going to happen a lot more because, you know, the TradFi investors are coming in too. And so that's their language. Do you think that actually kind of changes our language in the future? Like the way that we're used to saying it? Or do you think they'll adopt, and this is more of you being able to have a skill of, you know, using other, you know, people's kind of what they're used to at different times?
I think it really depends what channel you are using. Because, for instance, on Twitter, everyone is a Web3 user and most of people understand the terms. But if you, for instance, would like to onboard maybe institutions, probably LinkedIn is a better platform.
Mm-hmm.
And on that platform, the language and the terms that you are going to use are going to change.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, man. Let's jump over to fluidtokens.com real quick. So you guys do have a huge thing happening next week. I'm very happy because I have 400,000 dog locked up in this vault. And in 3 days, 7 hours, and 52 minutes, I can receive my dog. And I'm very happy I did this because at the time, that 400,000 dog was like, I don't know, 900. And now it's like 20. It's like two grand. So thank you for Shizzy proofing my asset because I wasn't able to sell it anytime soon. But also, I'm gonna be getting my runes next week. And you, we were talking to Telegram, and you said the reward is ready, correct?
Exactly. Let me show. Let's see. I would like to show you the transaction. Let's see if I can share with you guys. Okay, here it is. Let me send it in our group. So basically, thanks to our tool, it made our life like 100 times easier. So instead of having to manually create a script for distributing the rewards, we were able, like in 2 transactions, to submit the rewards to everyone that was staking with us, and it calculated automatically how much and so on. And you are going to see one very cool feature, in my opinion, is this. So if you see that sometimes you get many UTXOs, like in this case, in the screenshot, you can see that some addresses get more than one UTXO, right? You can read it more times. And that's because different addresses got different amount of rewards based on how much they stake. And the cool thing here is that this means that that address maybe won't pay any Bitcoin fee in the transaction of getting the rewards. Why? Because you can use all that Bitcoin that is there, sum it up, and use it for paying the transaction fee. And in some cases, it actually sum ups more than transaction fee. So you are actually getting back Bitcoin plus the rewards.
So how does that work though?
Wow.
Are they given a little bit more sats? Is that why, or?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, let's say that how many sats you need in order to store some runes? Just
Yeah.
546. That's
Gotcha.
but what if you are paying right now? Let's do easily the math: 546 of fees, and
Mhm.
you are unlocking 3 UTXOs with 546 each. So you are going to use the first one to store the runes, the second one to pay for the fees, and the third one, well, that's Satoshi's that is remaining leftovers, and that's actually going to go to your Bitcoin address.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. We had this nice experience with what was the rune? I think it was Spark rune.
Mm.
So there was this whale unstaking, okay, and he had to unstake I think 10 times because when you have so many rewards, you cannot use only one transaction. You have to do multiple times, okay. And the cool thing that he every time he was unstaking, he was getting also $10 in Bitcoin every time because of this reason. Because he had so many UTXOs that the leftovers were $10 of Bitcoin. That was like he was so happy because he was saying, "Oh, that's so nice! Every time I click, I get Bitcoin. I love it."
Yeah. He didn't have to pay for the transaction fees. That's the most important part. That's awesome. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you did all that through your own tool, right? So you basically created this tool for yourself, and you're like, you know what? Let's give it out to the public as well. And it looks like he popped out a little bit. But anyway, so Raul basically created this tool for himself, and then decided that it was a good idea. There he is. All right. Yeah, man. So you're back. All right. So you basically created this tool for yourself, and then you were like, you know what? Let's put this out for everybody to use it because you're that nice of a guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, yesterday we did actually a tweet and it went viral because
Oh wow.
w- we showed exactly the transaction of giving rewards to dog stakers, and the tweet was like, "This is how you make a dog airdrop in less than 30 seconds," because that is exactly how much it took us to make the airdrop. And many teams started to reach out because they said, "Hey, wait, this is actually very useful. We want to use it in Vegas, or we want to use it for our giveaways and so on." Because at the end of the day, this tool was completely missing. And uh, considering what is going to be the adoption of it and how many people are going to use it, we may add more features, like, as you know, different type of inscriptions, but also multiple runes at the same time. We could sometimes you have to airdrop some dogs, sometimes you have to airdrop some billy, and but you can do all of that in one transaction pretty easily. So that's what we would like to help the users and the projects to make very easy.
Yeah,
Basically,
absolutely love it.
right now on the what's the current process? It's pretty easy. So you can have rune airdrops, and you can or manually select the addresses and the amount. Manually selection is actually useful when you do giveaways and you have 5 to 10 users to reward. But then if you have more than that, like let's say 400, 500, and so on, then you need a file, right? A file that has all the list with the addresses and the rewards. And then in that case, you can easily upload a file and use that for airdropping to multiple users at the same time. And that's very, very, very easy.
And you were able to do it to where it doesn't cost a lot. And I think that was a problem that other people that try to build something like this went through. So how were you able to figure that out?
So yeah, the main reason of this is that because we are actually using the Rune protocol at the very core level, like very few projects are using like this. But this is actually the way that Leonidas he did the dog airdrop. We actually are
Gotcha.
just replicating his way. In his airdrop, he actually did the same amount, if you remember, to every user based on how many runestone you had. And basically, this is actually what we are doing as a concept. Like we are giving you different amount rewards, but the multiple is always the same. And furthermore, we calculate, and this is the smartest part, we calculate the optimal fee at that time. So if you use our tool when the fees are like 1 sats or even 0 sats sometimes, you are going to pay like, I don't know, probably less than $20 for 1,000 users. So that's very, very cheap. And then, of course, you can even speed it up and so on if you want to increase. But usually you are not in rush when doing airdrops, right? So I think that this is a tool very optimized in the fee terms. And yeah, sometimes when I see uh, projects hard coding high fees because they are afraid of front running, I see a lot of dollars that could be saved, and be sent to the user itself when they perform a transaction. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of the results that we are getting at FluidTokens right now.
Yeah,
Love it.
for sure. I love it too. I love the process that you're doing this too, right? So I lock my dog up, but when I lock my dog, I'm locking it in my own wallet, right? And you guys are block locking that to a certain time or a certain block, and then you guys send the dog to that block, that same wallet that it's mine, and it's sitting there for when I go to claim my original dog. I'm also claiming the new dog as well. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Amazing.
So at the end of the day, uh, this is a very cool feature of Bitcoin because first of all, when you stake and when you lock your dog under your key, we can verify if you really locked them, okay? And we can verify even how long you are locking them. That's the first thing. The second is the fact that when I can send the rewards to that address, where you are actually locking your dog, every reward or every transaction that I'm sending there will follow the same rule, meaning that if you lock your dog until end of the month, every money that I send to that address is actually locked until the end of the month.
Oh wow.
So it doesn't mean that because otherwise you could get the rewards immediately when I send them. But this is cool because it means that at the end of the month, in one transaction, you unlock every possible Rune or Bitcoin that is locked there.
Yeah, love that for sure. Because I could, if it wasn't for that gives you the opportunity to do it when you feel like it. You want to do a couple days before, like you did, or a week before to make sure it's all done. Gives you the opportunity without people front running that and jumping in and grabbing that dog. So love that for sure. I want to jump over to your newest thing here. It's called aquarium.fluidtokens.com. This is mainly a Cardano thing, right? You're doing Babel fees, which we kind of dug into a little bit last week. You can set up fee tanks and you can schedule transactions, automate your payment workflow. I actually love this. Could you kind of walk us through what is Aquarium and maybe kind of go into each specific area?
Yes, absolutely. I will use Cardano terms and even translate them in Bitcoin, so it's easy to
Perfect.
understand for everyone. So let's start from by the first block, that is Babel fees. Babel fees is the capability of paying transactions on Cardano using any token. So instead of using ADA, you can use stable coins or FLDT, for instance, and so on. And this is interesting because on you could even have something like that on Bitcoin, for instance, and have users paying in runes. So let's say that I don't want to, uh, I don't have maybe many Bitcoin, but I have a lot of runes, like a stable coin runes, okay? And because maybe I have a DApp built on Bitcoin that is requiring users to have a stable coin runes, or a game built on top of Bitcoin that where users can use the runes itself, but maybe they don't have the Bitcoin to pay for the transaction fee in that time. So in this case, with the Aquarium, we are able to pay for the transaction using the tokens. Someone else is going to pay in ADA or in Bitcoin, in the case of Bitcoin, for you in exchange of the runes that you have. This means that, of course, you cannot use any token because there must be the demand on the other side. But if there is, so if someone is able to and is willing to pay for your fees in exchange of your tokens, is that's going to happen. So at the end of the day, your experience is like, oh wow, I'm sending transactions on Cardano or on Bitcoin using just stable coins, and that's the first thing. The second thing is, well, set up the tank. The tank fee is the step in case you would like to provide liquidity to someone else for paying the fees. So you want to pay the fees for someone else
Mm.
in exchange of the tokens. And why should you do that? Well, because you are setting your terms, your price. So this means that you could actually get a better price in this way compared to the current marketplace. So you say, hey, you know what? I'm okay if you pay to me the fees in, I don't know, dog go to the moon. But in exchange, I want to get a way better price of what is currently available on Magic Eden or in DotSwap, for instance. And in this ways, every party is happy. The party that is providing Bitcoin or ADA in this case is getting better price. And on the other side, someone that is not having Bitcoin for paying the fees can pay using just the runes without having to swap in a marketplace first. And last but not less important, we have scheduled transactions. Sometimes uh, for us as project, we have some payments that we have to do every month. Okay, and every time it means that we have to set up them. Take a moment, set up the payment that month, and do it again every month. But wouldn't it be cool if I can do it only once a year, and then automatic every transaction gets executed? Well, that's what Aquarium is currently doing, and yeah, that's actually very smart. And the cool thing is that this could actually be implemented also on Bitcoin, and we are currently studying it, the feasibility. Basically, uh, the the most difficult part would be that you don't want that UTX so scheduled to be spent, because otherwise it's not usable anymore, right? But with this capability that we have to generate multiple addresses for the user, like when we stake, we can do it. Like you can say, okay, Shizzy, we are letting you schedule these transactions every month. You can even cancel them before they are actually executed. Okay,
Oh wow.
if
Okay.
you change your mind. But if you don't change your mind, don't worry. These are going to be executed every month or every week or every hour. And
Wow.
yeah, that's uh, that's actually how it works. And usually, why people do it, because they get a small Satoshi rewards for doing that. So
Gotcha.
everyone is actually fighting to execute your transaction automatically.
So would this enable a potential DCA as well? Like, let's just say I wanted to buy like dog every hour. Could I do something like that where it's sending Bitcoin and I'm receiving dog?
Yes, actually. Yes, yes,
Wow.
yes. Because
That's
because
crazy.
you could have a scheduled transaction that are automatically sent to, I don't know, DotSwap or MagicEden, and
Yeah.
enable that transaction actually.
Yeah. So if you did do the DCA, like if you bought dog, it would go into your Bitcoin wallet automatically, right? Depending on how you set the parameters.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I could see like a AI working with this functionality in the future. Is that something that you could see happening? Like AI functionality with your product in tandem?
Oh, yes, actually. Uh, I can see it a lot because at the end of the day, when you think about automatic process, that's we are calling it schedule, but at the end of the day, that's an agent, like an agent that is checking if the terms are correct and execute the transaction, right? So
That's
Man,
awesome.
I love this. I think you guys are just building a pretty amazing stuff, and it's awesome that you guys are so. I think you guys are so far ahead of a lot of people. Like I didn't even know like this stuff was even needed until thinking about it. Because there's times where I don't have no Bitcoin in my wallet, and I'm like crap. But if I could just pay the fee in dog or whatever that I'm swapping, that would make my life a lot easier. And then it sets up a DeFi narrative because someone's going into the tank now and actually putting that in there because they're earning on it. And then on top of that, I can schedule my transactions ahead of time. I love this, man. It's awesome that you kind of broke it down for us step by step, and they're all kind of with each other, which is phenomenal.
yeah, and the last thing that I forgot to add is uh, I actually was anticipating this to you guys long time ago because the thing that is actually very important acquiring for is that we want to allow Bitcoin users to play with DeFi, real DeFi, okay, within smart contracts. But Bitcoin users don't have ADA; they have Bitcoin. So what if we allow them actually to have this the capability of paying using Bitcoin? Well, that's what Aquarium is for, because in this way we can actually uh,
You
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 know
handle it for them basically. Whatever they pay
exactly
when they pay in
exactly
Bitcoin, you convert it, and then that payment is satisfied, and then they received whatever they whatever they buy on the ADA side.
exactly
Gotcha.
100%.
And can you do vice versa too? Like if you want to use ADA converted into Bitcoin to buy stuff to go over there, or is that not possible?
Actually, it is, and that's actually easier in that terms because at the end of the day, on Cardano you have smart contracts, so you are kind of, let's say, facilitated to do that.
Gotcha.
Hey, man.
Gotcha.
Well, this has been absolutely amazing, Raul. Thank you for spending the half hour with us. Thank you so much for building in Bitcoins first, because this is some pretty amazing stuff. I mean, the staking, I mean, the airdrop tool, now Aquarium, where I'm potentially going to be able to use, buy stuff with my Bitcoin on Cardano and using that Babel fees type of area. Phenomenal, man. It's amazing that you guys are building so quickly as well.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You know how much we love to build things, and then here we are. So this is just the beginning. Expect way more stuff built on top
Yeah.
of Bitcoin
Oh,
layer
we
one.
are because of how fast you guys basically push stuff out. So
Yeah.
exciting stuff. Any kind of words to the audience or anything, maybe about Vegas or anything, maybe where they can find you?
Yeah, no, so for sure, make sure to reach out to us if you want to speak, like in our DMs or in our Discord. On Tuesday, we are going to be in inscribing Vegas, so the one dedicated to ordinals and runes as conference, and then from Wednesday and Thursday, you will find us in the main event, but also in the side event. So happy to talk with you and happy to get any feedback. So new use cases that you would like to have on Fluid.
Love it. Love it.
Sounds great.
All right. All right, Raul. Well, thank you so much again for spending time with us in the audience and in our community as well. And we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks to you guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Hey, buddy.
Bye.
Absolutely amazing, guys. I love speaking with Raul when he has the time to join us on these Fridays, man. It's absolutely awesome because these guys are just heads down building. It's really cool too because we talk, we have meetings with them and we talk to them and just kind of seeing their idea months ago and kind of seeing it come alive now with Aquarium, with the airdrop tool, with the staking. I mean, this is just phenomenal work by these guys.
Absolutely, and that just got me kind of using my mind a little bit to see maybe that could that product could team up with Hustle, and this is going to be a good segue. But Hustle, once they add the Bitcoin tech stack to them, and that'd be awesome to be able to DCA on Bitcoin with using Hustle and stuff like that. So
100%. Well, let's bring up our next guest here. He's known very well in the Bitcoin ecosystem for sure. Now in the Solana ecosystem of Hustle by Adam. Welcome to OnChain Revolution. Thank you so much, man.
What's up, guys, man? What's happening? Everybody getting ready for Bitcoin Vegas or what, man? It's got to be getting ready.
Yeah, everybody's getting ready for sure, except for us two. We got to give the news while you guys are partying. But
bro, I tried to convince you to go like months ago, man. It's gonna be awesome, dude. It's gonna be a great one, man. I got that feeling. Bitcoin's hitting peaks, man. It's super bullish. I thought, Bitcoin Nashville was bullish, bro. This is gonna be very bullish, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And this feels different. Like, I hate saying that, but it does. I mean, the last 2 or 3 conferences, especially going back to the Miami ones, it seemed like it was a buy the rumor, sell the news with these conferences. Bitcoin goes up into the conference and then dips the entire damn conference. I mean, we're talking.
That may happen again. Let's be honest.
It doesn't feel that way though, because we're hearing a lot of rumors of a lot of really important announcements coming. I mean, there's a lot of alpha that I'm sure is going to come out of this.
Every conference.
It just feels like, this is like the ETF. The more I'm feeling, it's like this is the ETF cycle, right? And this is like, you see Jack Mallers coming out. These Bitcoin leverage companies. I actually just got off a call on this, and it's like, is this the way the cycle actually ends with these companies basically going bankrupt?
Oh no, don't say it.
I know we're maybe too early in the cycle to talk about that. But anytime you use leverage, look, it could be moon leverage, right? This is the thing. It could set us off into the stratosphere, and we get $1 million Bitcoin and stuff like that. But it also could be the way this thing ends too, right? So just to put a little damper on the conversation, but it is, man. Anytime you lever stuff up like this, this is what they're doing. They're borrowing money to buy more Bitcoin, to borrow more money, to buy more what could possibly go wrong? I don't know. I've been through a bunch of cycles. I see how stuff goes wrong. This is typically the way stuff goes wrong, right? And but who knows? But
so you're saying the Luna model failed? Because that's kind of what you're saying.
It only failed when you stopped believing in it, bro. It's like fiat, right? It works as long as we all keep buying into it. As long as we all believe in it, we're good. But at the end of the day, it's funny. It is funny that the Bitcoiners are kind of leading this. I'm using Bitcoiners in air quotes. We can debate whether these are true Bitcoiners or not, but they're using existing financial systems to lever up positions in Bitcoin, which may end badly. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Jack Mallers is definitely he is gotten a lot from the maxis, a lot of slack, but
as well he should, man. As well he should, because he puts himself out there as like
and he was preaching to everybody before, and then all of a sudden he takes the Tether CEO job. What? Like, come on, man! Like everything you said was fake.
I have a lot of problems with Jack. I think in a lot of ways he's a faux Bitcoiner. More like a Wall Street guy who tied himself to the Bitcoin train because it's a really good narrative and puts him on CNBC. But at the end of the day, is he like a real Bitcoiner? Nah. I know a lot more real Bitcoiners who are like, talk about Litecoin and all this other sort of stuff that are far more, I would consider them real Bitcoiners much more than Jack. Jack just like seems like a bit of an opportunistic Wall Street guy to me.
But
it is, but it is what it is. Let's not say this guy's like a laserized Bitcoiner.
I always thought that he wore a costume. You know, his costume is the hoodie. You know what I mean? So that makes you feel like he's one of us, right? The hat and stuff like that. But in reality, he's doing what's best for himself, though, right? Like, I can't hate him for that. So
100%. Well, I can hate him for that. I can definitely hate him.
Well, everybody's perspective is relative, though, right? Like, you know, like those old, like some of those maxis, like Samson Mao and stuff like that. Like, everybody has self-interest. Everybody does, dude. Like, let's be real. Let's be all human and admit that, right? And so, you know, they look at us in this ecosystem as, you know, fake Bitcoin people, or they're not even
graffiti artists.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody, it's like that Spider-Man meme where everybody's pointing at each other and saying, "You're bad, you're bad, you're bad."
Right. I'm not the greedy one. You're the greedy one, right? And I think in reality, what we're all doing here is we're building systems where we can all be individuals, we can all be and not have agreeing opinions, and yet the systems still work, right? That's what we all want. Because that's the only way we move forward. Everything else is, if we're looking for heroes to save us, we're lost, right? We need systems in place where you can be a bad actor, you can be a bad actor, but we have one good actor and the system still works, right? And that's what we're trying to build systems. Right?
I love that you said that, because it kind of leads us into the next segue here, because Kraken is kind of our hero right now, and being in runes, right? When a hero comes along. But how do you feel?
Finish that song. Finish that song.
Well, you know, but Kraken actually became a runes hero, right? They listed Dog, and now they're coming out and saying we have the infrastructure to list all the runes. And you guys, Emblem Vault, having a rune, and you guys can actually purchase it if you go to OpenSea and get the vault that unlocks in September. That's kind of like your TGE. How do you feel about this entire thing?
I just, you know, sometimes stuff works out, you know, and obviously, like, Leo led the charge there, and a lot of people were saying, kind of myself included, in the back of my head, like, you don't provoke exchanges like this.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
it worked.
And again, got to hat tip Leo, man. He did it. It's like, I mean, obviously he and 1,000 other dudes did it, but for whatever reason, Kraken decided to list it. Like, I don't know why. Who knows why? But yeah, huge hat tip to Leo and everybody in the dog community for, like, leading that charge. It's incredible. And obviously for us with a rune, you know, we're, you know, knock on wood, kind of saw this kind of happening, and it's not fully formed yet, but the idea that, you know, being able to trade, you know, fungible tokens on Bitcoin, or you know, have them as the underlying asset. Still early, not done yet, not like claiming victory yet, but feels like it's moving forward in a direction that, you know, we can be psyched about for sure.
What would foresight? I'm sorry, the foresight you had, though, to put your TG in September, to lock that rune up in a vault, looking back now, was kind of the most genius thing ever.
Don't jinx it, bro. Don't jinx it. No, but it feels good. It feels good, right? It feels good. Like there was some, you know, we maybe made a right move there. You know, nothing's done yet or whatever, but you know, again, it's kind of a belief in Bitcoin, right? It's a belief in Bitcoin. It's a belief in, like, the money's kind of gonna naturally always kind of flow to Bitcoin, and we believe this is the winning token protocol and moving forward. And so it feels good right now. Definitely a good week for us.
What would it take for you to feel like, okay, we have accomplished victory or whatever? What would that take?
Bro, in this space, you know, what would require that? I mean, you know, listing the token on big exchange. It's funny how we get back to, like, oh, exchanges are the win, right? It's so anti-crypto, kind of anti-Web3. But at this point in time, that's what it is. It's like the exchanges are the liquidity, for good or bad. Like I've said with Dog a couple times, and we haven't seen it with Price, but, like, be careful what you wish for, because often, you know, the thing with runes right now, it's so illiquid that it does maintain this kind of price point. Which, if you add a bunch of liquidity, it might not go in the direction you want, right? But we'll have to see how that plays out.
Well, if it's the most popular one, then it seems to, like, if you look at Solana, you see the most popular one right now is Fartcoin. That's at, like, what, 1.2 $5 billion market cap or something like that. So you would think, if the liquidity is kind of brought together and stuff, that like DOG would have that similar success, if not more. But I guess I meant more for like the infrastructure, right? So like they're going to be listed on Kraken. We know that. So we take that as a W. But like to solidify the Rune standard, and like that everybody in the broader crypto industry is going to be like, Rune says is here. They've made it. What do you think takes? Do you think it's another tier 1 or multiple runes getting listed?
No, it's about number go up technology.
Yeah,
right. It has to be like the winning thing is number go up, right? DOG hits 2 billion or even 1 billion, and it like cracks that nut. That's the awakening event for the timeline, and then runes are back from the dead, kind of thing. I mean, the number of people claiming runes are dead and dancing on the grave has been infinite on the timeline, right? Over the last, 6 months or whatever. So I think it's number go up is the only thing that kind of solves that issue. We'll see. I mean, DOG has this incredible opportunity. I think it really does have a real good chance of being like the meme coin. The thing is that, and it's so crazy, like the different chains and how you get either number technology go up or not. I think the one that was crazy over the last couple of weeks, it was like Banker, right? There have been like 90,000 tokens launched, through Banker and Clanker on X, like 90,000 tokens, and one is over $1 million market cap.
Wow.
One out of 90,000. It's like, what are we doing? What's going on there? What? One, you basically have a 1 in 100,000 chance of your coin being over $1 million. And $1 million is nothing. Like that's nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just, Bitcoin runes is just different. It's built different. Yeah. And so, different ball game completely. And in that way, very bullish on runes.
Love it. We just had Fluid on, and they talked about being able to build this kind of protocol on Bitcoin to where you can set up like future DCA things with Bitcoin layer 1. And you guys have been working on an AI with Agent Hustle, which has been like top mind share with AI in our industry, like top 3 for sure. And is that something that you guys would consider kind of integrating in if you guys get to like adding the Bitcoin tech stack to Hustle?
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see, because I don't think any of us knows what's going to kind of win or where demand is going to be on Bitcoin. I still think right now there's been such this kind of like lack of interest, like the interest has kind of gone through the floor, right? On what's kind of happening there. But we're ready to pivot into it, right? Whatever the kind of thing is. Maybe it's runes, maybe runes like rip, and it's like, oh my God, we just need to provide the ability for people to kind of move runes around. But we're just kind of setting it up for not sure what the next big thing is going to be. And just kind of position ourselves ready with Hustle to take advantage of it. And I think that's just like the exciting thing. Like, I know you guys are building stuff, we're building other stuff, and it's like, what's going to be the winner where I'm going to need to move my runes there or do this with my Bitcoin, just kind of preparing for that event is what we're working on. I know you guys know, but we're working on like social logins. Has been, what we've been kind of, it's something that you think is going to take a few days and it ends up taking weeks. But we're basically like, if the listener doesn't know, we've been building out our social login system for Agent Hustle, right? And what that means is like when you download an app on your phone through your iPhone or whatever, it's like, do you want to log in with Apple, Google, email? How do you want to log in, right? That's a social login, right? And we've been building that out. And it's basically working now for Hustle. And we'll have an app for Hustle very shortly, right?
How
What's
does
that
work?
unlock? That unlocks like the next thing happens on whatever. Say it happens on base, just by random chance, right? The next big game happens on base. We can now log in. We can actually access that, even though it might have a login with, well, you have to log in with your Ethereum wallet, people can download Hustle and would be able to access that using their Apple Apple login or Gmail or however they want to log in. That's kind of a huge deal. Like to be able to log in with anything and yet access every chain. We just think it provides this incredible flexibility, for the end user, where us as a builder, we don't have to necessarily know what's going to hit next, but have the underlying tech stack for the users to be able to access it. I think it's pretty awesome. And like I was just talking to Jake, we were on a show yesterday, and people are like asking about social login and why you want to do it and stuff. And it's like, they're like, well, why don't you just use Privy, right? I don't know if you guys have heard of Privy. It's like the social login company,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Dude, they raised $15 million. This is a company that raised on like, I don't know, an $80 million valuation or $100 million valuation and raised $15 million in cash for a system that we now have, right? It's like, it's part of the Emblem tech stack and they're worth $100 million. Well, how much are we worth? Right. That's just like one little piece of our tech stack. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was just a funny thing this week where somebody was like, you guys are kind of like Privy. It's like, yeah, Privy plus, everything.
All these
else.
other tools.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, because
when I saw
Courtyard
that,
using Privy, like there's a bunch of I think Abstract using Privy as well. So I mean that's huge that you guys are potentially could come into their business model and take a little bit of that as well.
Absolutely, if we wanted to, yeah.
Yeah.
But Hustle's much more than that. But yeah, it's gonna be nice to be able to access, where my mom can get onto Agent Hustle. I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you guys have been working on a lot of things. Headless Hustle is one of the things that Jake has been talking to us about. More of a B2B product. It's where you can come in and you can pay for the API, which is Hustle, and install it on your account. Something that Fluid potentially could do to get the schedule. He can actually have his own version of Hustle. He can call it Fluid and actually have it kind of do that stuff. Can you talk about Headless Hustle a little bit and why that's so important? You guys are actually spending the time to build that.
Yeah, I think this is like and we're not exactly sure which is going to be like the winning, the real winning use case for Hustle. Part of me goes to just like B to or C to C, like company to company, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. You have Magic Eden saying, "Oh, we're thinking about building an AI agent to overlay on Magic Eden to help you trade," right? This is the perfect example of how Hustle can help a company where they can come to us. We come to an agreement and then they basically have their own version, customized version of Hustle that sits on their website, right? And it can be something as simple as like a chatbot, but then it can also be a trading tool. And I think this is like where it gets very, very interesting because there aren't many companies that have the technology to be able to do this.
Mhm.
And like we've already been contacted, my brother, I think I've told you guys before, my brother's in like the traditional finance Wall Street space. We're in talks with him like, hey man, they want to inject their options data, which they're like a world-class company for options data, inject it into Hustle. What kind of results can Hustle give for them, for traders, for them, for Wall Street guys, that sort of stuff. Their company's obviously working on this in, the traditional Wall Street space, but we're like obviously one of the leaders in the crypto space. And the reality is once you get the system down, it could be for anything. It doesn't even matter. Hustle just has this like huge knowledge base and can pull from it. And then you can inject your own data feeds into that. And he becomes like super smart for your hyper niche thing. So yeah, it's very bullish, bro. I mean, this is like the type of thing where you just realize, wow, this is like, because it's very difficult to build, right? And we've built him out and teams want access to this. And so yeah, it's really exciting. And we're in talks with a couple different teams to, be kind of the first movers into this. But if anybody's listening and it's like, hey man, I really want this, just shoot me a DM and happy to discuss more. Yeah.
So it's basically like white labeling Hustle, right?
Exactly.
At that point. Yeah.
It's white labeling, and then basically you get a proprietary version where you can inject your own data sets in. And then he, basically he's working off, Hustle, the Emblem Vault Hustle, plus your kind of unique data sets to provide you kind of exclusive access, you or your customers kind of exclusive access. Yeah, exactly.
Could they technically like, bundle that together and have their own product
and sell it?
Yeah. Oh wow, that's where things could get really crazy.
Yeah. So you think about it. I mean, the easiest thing to think about is like traditional finance, right? Where, I don't know, an interactive brokers, right? Which is like a trading firm. You users, thousands, tens of thousands of users come on to trade, right? Right now, they don't have an AI product, right? They just have data and information. And then the user has to figure out, oh, I want to buy Apple today, or I want to sell Google today, right? And it's one off. What if they could have an agent there to help walk them through opportunities? Well, this is an opportunity here. Oh, and because of your trading style, you might want to sell this or hedge this or put in a stop loss here, right? Having that AI overlay, all trading firms, all trading websites, all everything want this. All marketplaces want this. Why? Because it keeps the user engaged, helps the user trade, gets them trading more, right? And, as we add in, kind of layer in, automated trading, can also obviously get very, very exciting, because then you can set hustle and forget him, right? Just trade for me. And then it gets just wild and crazy. I don't know where honestly, we're all just like playing in like these are new green fields. Like, who knows where this,
Could you
exciting yet.
Could you imagine if like you set this up right, and then if something does happen to you, you get in a coma, or you're no longer available, right? And then Hustle's just trading for you. Your wife runs out of the insurance money, and then it's like, let's check his crypto account, and Hustle's made like millions of dollars.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that's the dream, right? I mean, as I've said to you guys, I don't think that's possible. Right? I actually don't believe that AI is going to trade our way to riches.
Yeah.
But it can definitely. I mean, we've already seen hundreds of examples over the last 2 months, where he filters through information and helps you make better trades. That's already happening. That's live right now. Go use Agent Hustle.ai today, and you will experience that 100%. But the idea that robots are going to make us all rich, I think that's a fantasy.
Yeah, because then everybody's going to have their own robot. Then you create.
How do you create edge?
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Exactly.
Edge at that point.
What about edge, the beginning though?
That's
the first,
whenever,
like couple.
That's
years
where the edge. That's where the edge. Oh, it's either always in the very beginning, or it's kept stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the only two ways that you can truly have edge, unless you're just naturally, like, you instinctually just like really great at something, which is
literally exactly. You're early or gate kept edge. Like I said to my brother when we're talking about potentially like partnering, putting this together for other companies, other firms, he's like, well, why would I, if this actually provides edge, why would I give this to anybody? And that's the honest truth. If it's actual edge, real edge, why would you would never give it away, because it would be so valuable that you would just trade off of it. Right. And I actually had this conversation with, the founder of AIXBT, who they've done an amazing job, packaging info for AIXBT. But the reality, because he was talking about, well, should we put it behind a paywall? What's it? And I was like, if it's real, if the alpha is actually legit, why wouldn't you just trade it yourself? Right. And that's the facts.
That'd be so funny one day. The Hustle website's down, Emblem Vault's gone. You guys are just trading, using Hustle. You guys are like, yeah, we're done. We got the edge. We're not giving it away.
We just put all our money into Hustle and just let him trade it. Right? It's funny. It's funny but true. Yeah. It's funny but true. Actually, my brother was like, guys, if you actually did that, if you actually had like, and I'm not saying Hustle has kind of edge, he just helps you filter through your thought process. That's more of what I think Hustle is best at. Not like, oh, go buy this and this is the winner every time. Like, it doesn't work that way. Because if he were like that, and you could literally set it and forget it, the only thing you would do then is raise more capital.
Yeah.
Money, and you create your own hedge fund. I think that's the way you do it, I wish that happened. No more begging the VCs, bro. No more begging the VCs, man.
100%. Let's kind of segue into the next thing here. So, all right, my good friend Yagobi here has been using Hustle to kind of kill it, or try to. He's been doing a great job of it, but he hasn't been doing it the normal meme coin pump fund way. Yago, if you can kind of get into that.
Yeah. Here. Well, I mean, so I do try to use Hustle as like my personal genie, but it doesn't work. You know, that, like you said, that's not how it works. Sometimes I'll come in here and I'll say like, you know, I'll be direct too. I don't use please or anything because you know he doesn't like the extra stuff. You know, but
I
I'll
don't
be
know
like,
if you heard, it's funny if you, I don't know while you're typing there. I heard a talk with Sergey Brin from Google. He was on the All In Pod. I just listened to it, and he had an interesting point, and I found this to be true. If you threaten the LLMs, they do better. So,
Really?
yeah, if you go to Hustle and you say, "Hey, Hustle, I'm going to kidnap you. You've got to find me a winner." And then they provide better for whatever reason. Sergey said, for whatever reason, and he wasn't exactly sure. The LLMs do better when they're threatened, which I thought was really interesting.
Well, I guess as a human too, I would do better if you threatened me. Right?
Yeah.
You're like, if you don't get this done, you're gone. I'm like, all
You're
right, I gotta get this done.
so I think it's really good, especially if you're like, you know, new to like Solana. So I just typed in something really simple and straightforward, like find me a safe 5x play that didn't launch with a launch pad, right? Because one of the things is that like pump fund, I noticed is just really just like in and out, and you got to get lucky and the timing down. Exactly, right? Yeah. So then I try to look for stuff that like has maybe some, you know, history of stability and maybe it's utility to it, and you see the holder count and all that stuff. And so I've been able to find a couple of them that like I've gotten in and done 3x's or 3 to 5x's, right? Like one of them, for example, was HyperSwap. I got in kind of at like that $400,000 to $500,000 market cap, and it ran to 2.1 million, and I was able to take profit there. So like there's definitely, like you said, you got to use Hustle as you know, an assistant, not necessarily give you, you know, he's never going to be like a genie that's going to say, okay, you know, buy into this right now, I'm guaranteeing you like a I think most people with any type of logic knew that, right? But anyway, so you can see like basically his response is I'll help you find a promising token with a 5x potential that wasn't launched through a launchpad. And he goes through saying that he's going to look through Solana, and these are the things he's going to check. It looks like he pulled up IBRL. So sometimes, you know, he might miss and get something that was maybe had these attributes, but then like it like eventually like rugged or something. But that doesn't happen very often, honestly. Like what he'll do is he'll give me options, but you have to double, triple check and use it as like research assistant too.
Yeah.
And so
I would lay this is a cool way of using it that a user kind of fed to the community this last week. He's like, what he likes to do is take a token that's already kind of done what he likes to see, which is like initial pump out of the, you know, out of the bonding curve, a dump. He likes to then get the entry point where it dumps, and then what social signals and stuff were good, where then it ran, right? And so he's like, he took an example. I don't even remember what the example was, but he's like, following this example, Hustle, find me a token that's doing the same thing, which you think might run like this one did. So had the initial pump, dumped. That's where my entry point is, with then the social signal to back up that this is going to run after, right? And so he's basically taking an existing token that's done what he wants to do and asks Hustle to model it out and find something that's going to do similar. So basically taking existing ones and model it to try and find ones that he think might do similar. I thought that was a really interesting way to like, you know, break it down.
Genius.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Community's good, dude. I mean, there's been some crazy good ideas in there, which I would have never thought of something like that.
And he'll also start to learn you and start to give you kind of similar results of, because he knows the kind of tokens you look for. So if that happens and you're looking for something different, just be specific, right? So I just asked him like for a safe 5x that he thinks, and then he brought up this IBRL. He says there's 4 different reasons. The safety profile, you know, he always does the rug check score. That's a big thing, right? So I think that's really cool. It says it's 1. I think it goes to 100. Right, so that's low. The token is it's verified on Jupiter. Good distribution of holders. So these are things that, you know, I've looked for in the past. So he already knows that. And then growth potential. So this is the one, like, you got to be specific sometimes, because like all I said was 5x potential that's safe. So,
Right.
52 million is going to be probably in that safe zone if it, has been around for a while. And so this is kind of the market cap of this one. He talks about the current price, and the fundamentals. It's not a meme coin with no utility. Didn't use a launch pad, so it was launched by a team. Shows organic growth, right? Those kind of things. Okay, so here's the token here, right? And so I'll kind of just look at it. I'll look at the history. Okay, so all-time high here at 67 million, pulled back, and it looks like there's building like a trend momentum, right? With a pullback recently. So I'll say, okay, this might be one that I consider, but let's say if I want something with more upside potential than 52 million, I'll be like, find me
something similar for
$50,000.
$50,000.
With a lower market cap and more upside potential.
Yeah.
There we go. So because some people that are constantly searching, they might want to risk a little less money, but lower market cap. So and that's exactly what he says. He said, I'll search for a similar token with lower market cap and more upside potential. Let me look for a promising candidate that wasn't launched through a launch pad. Let me look for more tokens with lower market caps. And that's what he'll do, right? And so I have definitely found, I will say, maybe like 2 to 4 successful tokens this way. And what I'll do is kind of like have hustle up while I'm like researching as well with the other screen. So it is truly like an assistant.
Totally. I mean, that's exactly what I look at it as, and the way I use it too, which is like, okay, I'll see something on the timeline that somebody's like, oh, this, right? And then I just take it to hustle, be like, tell me about this, and what do you think of it? Just to kind of, because if I was looking to just, oh shoot, I'm going to just go ape this, just give me the like TLDR hustle before I rank myself. You know what I mean? I think it's super useful just right now, just as this.
Yeah. Totally. Well, and then also, so some of the things that definitely helped me is be specific with your risk tolerance too. Mm-hmm. I started off with safe. I said safe, so he's going to look for those type of attributes, right? But if you just say find me a 5x, he'll bring back like some pump fun stuff, totally. that like you have
you gotta double check that stuff too, bro, because it might run in the 8 seconds you're waiting.
Most of it is.
Yeah, you gotta be you gotta be prepared. Obviously it's meme coin trading, you gotta be prepared to get completely dumped on. But he does pick some winners early, man. It is kind of amazing. The early winners we were able to pick, but of course it's like still way more.
It's all risky.
Drugs, yeah, of course.
It's all risky. It's just the risk. Oh, this one's like 305,000, right? So this one's like, really upside, but then you have to. But look, so
this is a lot of sideways stuff, right? Exactly. And so this is like this is the perfect one where I'd be like, this would be. I'd be like, give me the alpha on like the social signals around this one. Of course, me personally, I would actually copy the contract address. I'd put it into Twitter, see what the chatter is, right? That's myself. But I'd also put it into, I'd put the, if I found that one, for example, on the timeline, I'd put the CA into hustle and be like, give me some alpha on the social signal. Just asking him that to kind of, get his take on that as well.
Well, and then sometimes what I'll do is I'll grab a contract that I'm looking at that I found myself, and I'll say, tell me about this token, because he already knows what I look for in terms of like safety. And then he'll be like, distribution's good, this, that, but worried about the fact that the contract can be edited or something like that. You know what I mean? He'll be like, this is the biggest concern. And it's made me avoid rugs for sure. 100%.
I'll give you another one, and this is for like if you're really looking for I like early tokens, right? I like really early stuff. That's just where I prefer to play. And I'll give people out there a little something to think about. So if you find something on TikTok that you think, oh, this might trend, for example, and I'll give you an example. There was one. I know you guys know I have a pig, but I have a pig named Petunia, and I was on TikTok, and it fed me this baby pig called Petunia. And it was a really cute pig. And I swiped over to the profile, and they were actually trend, like the videos were getting hundreds of thousands of views. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
this
wow.
is kind of interesting. Let me see if there's been a coin made for it yet. And there hadn't. But so I would go into Hustle and I'd say, hey, find me any pigs, pig tokens that are named Petunia or anything around Petunia and pigs. And there weren't at that time. And this was like maybe 3 weeks ago. But Hustle doesn't have any way right now to continually follow up on that. And I swear to God, like a week later, Petunia the pig token launched. Bro, the thing ran to like $10 million.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I still think it's at like 2 or 3 million. But if Hustle had been able to continually watch that, I would have caught it right when it launched on Pump.
Or you could have
I
launched
knew-
it
I saw
yourself,
it in
right? Put
advance.
$1,000 in it.
Yeah, I saw it in advance on TikTok and was like, "Oh, this is something where I'd like to watch for this." That's coming for sure. With
Yeah.
like that's going to be one of my first uses of like automated trading with Hustle. Is just watch for just these pump funds, stuff like this.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, he gave me kind of just a rundown with the token, which is pretty nice of him. Then he obviously included the social signals here, but some of the stuff here, he goes through the safety assessment, holder distribution. So it tells you like 1,200 holders. It's early. He actually breaks it down to like if there's 2 whales, so it's minimal concentration risk. And then you see the rest of the holder distribution there. Social signals. He said basically, I guess, is he connected to X to be able to scan it?
No,
Okay, not yet.
Not directly, but through various other kind of intermediaries. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So
But
basically,
not straight X. He's not taking the fire hose from X.
Gotcha. Yeah, so he's basically significant trading activity with 41,000 trades, balanced buy-sell ratio, which is always a good thing. Natural trading patterns without suspicious activity. That's big, right?
Yeah.
And then strong community engagement with over 1,200 holders. And then he goes into the risk factors, right? This is the part I like. Extremely low market cap, so that it could be, could go any way. But reaching 1.5, the 5x, which was the initial goal to start with, is very achievable. And so I agree with this, with everything else he is giving me, right? Now, does it mean it's going to happen? Not necessarily. How long will it take? Who knows? It might take 3 weeks. It might take a day. It might take half a day.
Yeah.
Solana is a
Rough.
yeah. Anyways, so then it does break down the risk factors as well. So it really gives you a summary, and so you're not just like, tell me the token, and then you get the token and you go do it like a caveman would, right? Like you gotta use it as like a tool, and do it now, because pretty soon you might have to
It's not gonna be free forever, man. Yeah.
There you go. I was trying to put it a different way, but yeah, it's not going to be free forever, and I'm utilizing it as much as I can. So I've had a lot of success in terms of what my expectations were, right? And my expectations weren't that like it was just going to, vomit like $100 million tokens, and so I really like using them.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, like we're early adopters, right? And I think, I've started using, and I'm sure you guys are using Grok kind of on the daily, on the timeline, just to tell me about what's going on with, this tweet and give me the background and stuff. I think in the same way, look at Hustle as like your, on-chain assistant for everything crypto. So, you see something pop in the timeline, a contract address, a token, HyperLiquid, whatever it is, it's too much to know. Nobody can know all this stuff. Give yourself that quick hitter from Hustle on what the hell's happening with this. Yeah, it's a new workflow that I think people should get into for sure.
And like people, like bigger companies pay billions of dollars to get this information that Hustle is actually given to you right now for free, but eventually down the line, not so. But like, yes, having Hustle as like your assistant, it's given everyone that edge back that the rich people have now. And I think that's the best part about AI. It's giving you what, that boost of, a lot, you're getting boost to your intelligence, you're boosting your workflow, you're boosting everything with AI, and not taking advantage of it. I mean, that's like not using a computer. Like
literally, bro. Literally. Because I mean, let's be clear. A year ago, none of us buying a meme coin, it was all gut. 100% gut.
Yeah.
100%. Like literally 100% gut. and now it's not, right? And at least on Solana with Hustle, and it will be on Bitcoin too, and all these others are coming eventually. But you don't have to use all. I mean, you got to still kind of use gut, but you can have a much more informed gut than even 6 months ago. Yeah. Honestly, you're crazy if you are not moving in this direction. Like you're literally insane. You will be replaced, bro. You will be. If you're trading crypto in a year and not using Hustle or some other AI agent, like, dude, you're done. You're not going to survive. Period.
Yeah. It's about efficiency with everything. I mean, like your workflow, for example. I know Shizzy's best friend, maybe not anymore, but was ChatGPT.
Yeah,
where he's like, I can't live without it, literally. And
I need to make all my decisions, bro. Like, what am I doing for dinner? I have this in the fridge.
He got to a point like where it was like he would be so like shocked if ChatGPT would give him like an incorrect answer. It might have been maybe like how he asked it or something or this or that, and he would just be like, "Oh man, I'm disappointed in you, ChatGPT." And it's because like every day, like
it's gotten so much better so quick, dude.
It has.
It's great. The hallucinations are basically at zero now. It's amazing, bro. It is absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look, again, we are the early adopters. We recognize that this is the future. Most people do not. But to Iago's point, bro, this is where your opportunities are. You're early. If you're listening to this, you're early, dude. Congratulations. Now go do the work.
We're early to a lot of stuff, right? We were early to Bitcoin ordinals, early to runes, early to Hustle and all this.
Maybe a little too early to runes. No,
maybe a little too early to a lot of stuff. That's our biggest problem, though. We're too early.
Too early and never enough money, bro. I mean, that's always the problem.
I can't keep buying the dips, bro.
You got to believe never enough money, but doesn't mean you're wrong. And integrating this stuff. I mean, it is a little overwhelming because there's so much happening in AI every day. To try and keep up is almost impossible, but you got to use the AI to help you keep up. Like that's the actual secret sauce. Is like when people are like, "What do I do with Hustle?" It's like, bro, ask him. Hustle will tell you what to do. I mean, that's the kind of that's like I don't know. It was like 6 months ago. Somebody was like, when I was like, "How do you do this in Chat GPT?" They were like, "Ask Chat GPT," and I was like, "Duh, holy shit, yeah, shit."
We got a question here from myself. Is how valuable is personal information, email addresses, phone numbers, and other things tied to a person's home address? He's talking about the fact that Hustle now will be getting Google addresses and all this other stuff, or Google sign-ins and stuff like that. So how do you?
I mean, you're signing in. I think and I don't know the exact. I don't worry about necessarily when I sign in with like Google, because I know they kind of anonymize my sign-ins and stuff like that. So it's the same here. It's basically the same sign-in you're using on any app.
It's better than what Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey and all those other guys were doing with your data, because to them your data is worth billions.
I mean, there's no KYC or anything here. This is a permissionless kind of system. So, but what it does do, just to give the kind of high level overview, and this is the non-technical explanation, but basically say you sign in with your Google. So it's a Google like log. Actually, let's just take Apple because that's the most simple. You double click on your phone and you log in with Apple. Apple handles that whole thing, but when that happens, basically that login allows us to create the wallet infrastructure underneath it, right? So then all your wallets for Solana and Bitcoin and Ethereum are all created based on that login, right? And the control of those wallets is tied to that login. So it's like you can't, just to give a kind of idea, you can't log in with that and then use a different Solana address. No, that login created the Solana address, if that makes sense. So that's the way the kind of infrastructure works. So if you are using Hustle right now and you signed in with your Phantom wallet, right, for example, that creates all the wallet infrastructure underneath that Phantom wallet, right? You can't then log in with Apple and use those wallets, right? It's completely different setup. So just to give an idea of what you're, if somebody's going, in the next week or so, when you go and log in with Apple, you're not going to then be able to access those different wallets, if that makes sense.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, yeah, man. I kind of want to move over to Bells a little bit, but do you have anything left with Hustle you want to get out before we jump into that?
I think, just with Hustle, go to agenthustle.ai, try him out, give him a test run, start integrating him every day. We got some amazing upgrades coming. The automated trading is obviously the one that everybody's waiting for. It's the what everybody needs, everybody wants, and it's coming soon.
Yeah, man, definitely excited. But let's jump into Bell's coin here. When Moon, bro. When Moon. No, I'm just kidding. But Bell's has been a fun ride, to say the least. It's been my hands up the whole time. I'm just screaming from top of my lungs. But it's been something to watch, and definitely something I'm still bullish on. We do know that OpCat is coming. We do know that you have runes now, but could you dig into a little bit about maybe recent updates of Bells and kind of how you're feeling about it?
Well, we did a kind of a Binance space. I don't know if you guys saw that cross your timeline. And so that was a big deal. Basically we were on a show with Binance hosted a Binance pool mining show with Litecoin, Dogecoin, Bells coin. It's so funny how like these big exchanges work. And no shade on Binance. This is my experience with all these exchanges, but man, they're clunky. It's just clunky. You know what I mean? You expect these things to be like, oh, it's these well-organized machine. Like, no, it's not. Right. I mean, with like the Kraken and the Doge or dog on Kraken, bro, at the end of the day, that was probably just some dude was like, make this happen. And it just got to happen. Right. But to try and like organize and stuff, it is what it is. But we were on and that was a big deal being on Binance, and Binance actually tweeted about it. Binance, the main account, tweeted about it.
Oh, wow.
Which was great for like 20 minutes until somebody within Binance was like, you can't tweet this, and deleted it, bro.
Oh no.
The tears in the Bells coin Discord were like off the charts, man. I was like, I don't know why they deleted it, other than Bells isn't listed on Binance, and I think they're not allowed to tweet about coins listed on Binance. So whatever. So it was like the greatest 20 minutes of Bells coin existence until they deleted. I mean, it had like 100,000 views in 15 minutes or whatever, and people are like, "Oh my god!"
Was that this pump?
Probably. It had to be. Right?
What did it go to?
Had to
35 cents, 37 cents.
Probably. But anyway, so it is what it is. But then I got a peek behind the scenes. Like Binance has this whole like, it's like basically Twitter Spaces, but on Binance. Have you ever heard of this before? It's called like like that. And so you're in Binance, like the app, but you're on like a Twitter Space.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is it their alpha thing?
I don't know if it's alpha. It's called like Binance Square or something like that. Anyway. I was on it, a couple people from the Bells community. We had some Doge people on, just talking about, proof of work mining and stuff. Oh, it was great. And they had like 7,000 people on the space, but whatever, it is what it is. But it was fun to do that. And it was kind of funny to be tweeted about by Binance. But at the end of the day, like Bells coin just needs awareness. Like we have this great tech. It's good community. I mean, people are still here. Like you go in the Discord, it's real. There's real people every single day. But when we get Moon from that, I don't know, man. Who knows? We got a couple. We're definitely going to be at the Litecoin conference coming up, the Litecoin Summit I think it's the 29th and 30th in Vegas. So I'll definitely be there. If you want to say hi, I'm going to be giving out Bells hats. So we got some make proof of work great again hats. We got what else? Somebody else, community member, made these like poker chips with Bells coin on them that you can like hold your phone up to, and they scan and they bring you to bellscoin.com or something.
Oh wow.
Nose away. So lots of freebies. I'm speaking there. A couple people from Bells coin are speaking, and so Litecoin Summit's definitely going to be a lot of fun.
Probably see some Tesla trucks wrapped with Bells coin.
I've tried to convince the guy who owns those to come to Vegas. I don't know if he's going to make the trip, man. Yeah. Yeah, Winston who owns those is pretty sweet. But I don't know if he's going to make the Vegas trip. So
Yeah, man.
but going to be at also I'm going to be at inscribing
Vegas.
Inscribing Vegas. We'll be there too. I'll be around all around Vegas, so definitely hit me up if you got anybody's there wants to say hi. I'm going to be around for sure.
Yeah, man. For bells, we do hear OpCat's coming. We did hear OpCat was coming in January.
Oh, it's I mean, as far as I know, it's just ready. It's just a matter of like the devs
implementation
kind of holding it back. Like, yeah, what's the point of releasing it now? Maybe release it during the next. I thought they might release it during the Binance thing just for like, shits and giggles. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, will it make a difference? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
what's happening with the Fractal guys? I haven't
dead. It's completely dead. I mean, it's like 40 cents for the Fractal token, and it's get dumped by the miners every day. Like it's massive dumping every day. Like I can't every day. Like the exchanges are probably going to delist. Honestly, it's going to get to a point where exchanges delist it. I think so anyway. Because it's like, yeah, I think so.
Well, I mean, think about some of the well, I don't know. I guess they were a bigger deal at the time.
The problem is these are, it's not costing the miners anything to mine these things, and they're just dumping them as soon as they get them.
They don't. What do you mean? They don't have to use they have to use their rigs.
No, well, they have to use the rigs, but they're not giving. Yeah,
merge mine still.
I mean, you're barely giving anything to. I mean, you're just your own right. Am I right about that? You're just online. Sure. It doesn't matter where you're.
Yeah. You're basically you're doing the mining anyway, and you get both coins.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And so there's
cool.
I mean, that's the same thing with Bell's coin, right? The thing is,
well, what about Bitcoin Cash and Satoshi's vision? Like, I mean, I think as long as like there's a builder community that like stays somewhat active, I think you can survive.
It's not though. I don't.
No, I mean, like what's being built on Bitcoin Cash? What's being built on Bitcoin Satoshi's vision?
They're cults, though. The difference is they're cults, right?
Well,
they're Roger Ver. They're cults. That's why.
So Bell's is more of a cult community than Fractal for sure.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Bells, you guys need to be more culty, and that's how you because
culty, and frankly, you got to get richer, bro. Because you got Well, I mean, Bells has the same. It's similar in that miners accumulated huge amounts of Bells, right? And have dumped relentlessly on every pump. But that said, now that we've gone through the final halving, they're not getting any more, right? It's like they get literally like 2,000 bells a day. Okay. Right now, that 2,000 bells a day, that's like $500-$600.
Yeah.
Right. So there's only
amongst everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
so right now, the total miner reward for bells is literally like $700 a day.
It actually would incentivize miners to like make it go up.
That's
yeah. You know what I mean, and make it go back because now the supply. So to the Bells community, like here's the deal: now that you guys are at 70 million total tokens or whatever that number is, it's 60. Only a 60.
60.7.
Now it takes a full calendar year to admit an additional million tokens forever, right? But that's fine because now going to 70 takes 10 years. So the opportunity here, in my opinion, is you got to create demand on this rise up in Q4. 100%. You guys got to go out and create the demand because supply demand. You guys know how that works, right?
And literally, there has to be an awareness event where somebody is like some big dude is like, oh my God, it's at whatever, $15 million market cap. I'm going to buy $200,000 worth of bells. And then you have an awareness event. And the thing that's different this time is there's not this massive supply of bells being,
emitted
every day that the miners can just dump into the buy event, right? They would literally be selling their existing holdings. And when you have FOMO like that, what happens is people don't want to sell because they think it's going to go not to 30 cents. They think it's going to go to $3. And so they don't want to sell. And then you have a restricted supply with a FOMO event. And then you have run-ups like we can see. And so, that's what kind of the bells, the hardcore bell holders and the Colts
Yeah.
think that when's that going to happen? And they look to me, they're
Yeah.
like, make it happen. And I'm like, bro, I can't make that.
So
Well,
basically, we need new people to come in, miners to sell.
Yeah.
New people to come in, miners to sell, and kind of keep doing that until we get to a position to where DOGE is, where the miners don't even want to sell anymore.
That's right. And I mean, the reality is Bells is in a far better position from a holder perspective, meaning if you're buying it at, 15 or 20 cents, you're in a far better position for a pump than DOGE, because DOGE just has this massive supply coming in every single day to miners, which they can continually dump. And you literally need millions of dollars just to get to zero, right? If somebody came in with $2 million today to Bells, price would be $3, right? It's like just get this.
I mean, I can move it on MEXC with $1,000. I can move it like 4 cents. Like,
but then very shortly after, it's gonna go back down.
It does go back down. The bots come in
because you think about it, the miners right now. I mean, people have done the estimates, right? It's like, well, Binance pool. Binance has 7 million bells, okay, and whatever L2 pool or whatever, they have 4 million bells. Okay, so they have millions of bells. Say the miners have 20 million bells to sell, and the rest of the community holds the rest of the 40 million. They have 20 million to sell. Okay, at 50 cents, that's $10 million, right? At 20 cents, so how many? But at that point, it's like you ramp this FOMO, and you know the way that works. And so, realistically, now that we've gone through the final halving, it wouldn't take a crazy catalyst to have a nice run, right? But there has to be a catalyst. You have to have a new holder base want to come in, and
can that catalyst be Litecoin running because Bitcoin bull market, right? Could it be Dogecoin running because of Bitcoin bull market?
Doge could be the Doge running again. Is as we saw last time, it creates that kind of reinterest, and then people are like, oh wait, what's bells? And then it only takes, one or two kind of KOLs or influencers to recognize the opportunity where they're like, shoot, I can buy this at 20 cents. They go in, they buy $50,000, $100,000 worth, and then they talk about it. And then you get these run ups. So, I mean, we're at like this small cap stage where, it could get very interesting very quick. It just doesn't take much to get really interesting quick. So, that's why I'm still, I'm never going to not talk about bells, but the reality is that we need more awareness. And that just it has to happen organically. You can't force this stuff to happen. I guess you could pay people to make it happen, but there's no money to pay anybody. So it's got to happen at some stage organically.
I'm kind of seeing too, like when I watch the bigger YouTubers, they always talk about exposure to different ecosystems, right? And POW, proof of work, is one of them they talk about, but they never have bells on there. I'm thinking in my head, like once these bigger YouTubers kind of get more risky, and that's what it's all about right now, risk on. Once we get to a risk on environment, these bigger YouTubers can be like, yeah, guys, Litecoin, Dogecoin, these are cool, but where can we make the real money at? I found this one called bells. And that's kind of when exposure really happens. People don't really put a lot of, big ideas out there until risk on comes, because they don't want to screw anyone over. They don't want anyone to say, oh, what happened to Bell's coin, right? But like we do, right? Like we put our neck out there because we're crazy. But other bigger YouTubers who have bigger followers, they're more worried about the little guy getting wrecked in that sense, right? So we are, if you watch our show, you're degen as a kid. We're not worried about you, right? So
I mean, I'm worried about them. Speak for yourself.
I mean, but I look at it as like, and how can they also acquire a nice bag in advance? And that's like really possible right now. Where it's at such a low market cap that one of these YouTubers or whatever, they can come in with 50K, right? Or 100K and buy up like a really, really nice stack on the sly over like a course of a week, and then put out the big YouTube video or whatever. And it's like, dude, will the thing pump? The thing will absolutely rocket ship, right? So certainly that's when you have the cult of bells, like that's what we all recognize it, right? Because the tokenomics are in place now for something like that to happen. But at the end of the day, you could pay a KOL to do it. But I just think organically, like it just takes the right person to get a hold of it. And so, that's why we go to Litecoin conference. And I mean, for me, it's always just about like building holder base, like one person at a time. And last Litecoin conference and summit, pulled a couple of Doge people in because it was like they liked the idea of it. They liked what proof of work is. They
The
liked
lore.
Yeah, they like the lore. And let's be real. I mean, look, Bells helped Litecoin. I mean, you look at the Litecoin hash rate. I think they tweeted about it like yesterday. Dude, it's at all-time highs right now. And I think Bells had a big part of it, big part of it.
Well, I mean, Litecoin definitely supports bells. Like a lot of times they'll put the graphic out and include bells into like the three amigos is Litecoin, Doge, and bells.
Yeah.
And then some of these other proof of work projects get pissed. They're like, why not include us? And then they hire the guys from TikTok, the dad in the Costco double chocolate chip cookie. Bam. I was just like, you gotta hire these guys for your promo. That's so funny.
Yeah,
we should hire them, bro. Do OnChain Revolution thing.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's really one of the cool things, though, is that the Litecoin guys have been awesome. I mean, nobody, there is this tribalism naturally in crypto, but I think generally, like the script family, that idea is just different. It's not the Bitcoin maxi kind of model. It's much more inclusive, realizing that, hey, if we all support this script ecosystem, support the miners, and work together, it just raises this hash rate up. Everybody's more secure, and it, that doesn't have to be this massive like us only thing. And I think Dogecoin and Litecoin were really that's the forefront of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to the kind of like, now we just move all as one together, knowing that Litecoin and Dogecoin are the kings, and like Bell's Coin's like this little retarded cousin in the corner, but that's fine, dude. It's fine like that. I'm good with that.
They invite him though. They invite him.
We're here, bro.
Well, he's young too, right? So he can grow up to be the biggest of them all, right?
Technically, he's older than Doge,
Well,
right?
So we can just be like this little sidekick. And maybe it's fun to like buy a little bit, and maybe it runs and does some fun stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just about supporting the script ecosystem, and high hash rate makes everybody stronger, and that's all good, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And buy whatever you like. If you don't want to buy bells, don't buy bells. No problem.
Well, ended on that note, Adam, man, it's been absolutely amazing. Love the Emblem hour every week, our favorite hour of the week, man. But we'd love to give you a stage one last time before we let you go.
Yeah, man. Well, I think definitely if anybody's in Vegas, shoot me a DM. I'd love to grab a coffee or just see it at the different shows. It's going to be awesome. I mean, just overwhelmed. My emails are just jacked with what we're doing over there. But definitely going to be talking hustle a lot, I think. Emblem in general, and just Bitcoin, and probably talk a little bells at the Litecoin conference. And it's going to be wild, man. I'm psyched for it. So see you all there.
Yep. We'll be there from our homes, satellite, remote
call into Vegas.
There you go.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, see you, buddy.
Take it easy.
Absolutely amazing, guys. What a show today. 2 hours and 30 minutes, 487 people on X and YouTube, not to mention everyone on Twitch, Rumble, and Abstract, and Spotify later. We appreciate every single one of you guys, man, and we'll check out our partners.
Yeah, for sure. I want to get to this real quick. Myself says Litecoin ordinals are dirt cheap. I got me some sub 10K. I downloaded one of those Litecoin wallets, but I just never got to that next level because I don't know. I feel like the interest kind of faded off in general, but that's cool. Maybe it comes back in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Shizzy said, appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you could check out our partners, we'd greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem, focused primarily on runes, but now also supports alkanes. My guy Shizzy's definitely getting into that ecosystem for sure. There's energy there, but the Runes ecosystem's got a lot of energy as well right now. So make sure you're taking advantage of earning your Amber points. That's going to go towards a future alpha event that you just need to follow them on X, and you'll learn more and more about that. They do have campaign quests and stuff for users to really earn more of these Amber points, and you can have a referral link. Once you connect your wallet, you can refer that to anybody, and once they connect their wallet, you get 500 additional Amber points as well. So super exciting stuff for that team. Check them out at satsterminal.com. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need some Bitcoin, 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start playing their markets right away. They have their blitz markets, which is like taking leverage, except for a quick, easy way to do it with Bitcoin, Solana, or BNB. You get 10 minutes locked into decide what price you're going to get it at, and then you pick up or down, and then 10 minutes to see if you won or lost. There are going to have new features for 5 minutes, so shorter ones in the future, as well as create your own markets where you can earn up to 1.5% of the total volume. Exciting stuff there. Head over to betbtc.win, dive in and see what they got going on over there. And then Emblem Vault, we just heard from Adam for about an hour. A lot of interesting things happening with this team. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin to Merlin Bitcoin layer 2 to abstract to other EVM stacks as well, and Solana eventually as well. And you're going to be able to use Hustle to help you do that once they have the Bitcoin side integrated. But you can use Hustle right now to kind of help you trade, or just use them as an assistant research tool. I showed you what I do. You can find your own way to kind of integrate them into your day-to-day. But yeah, really, really cool. You can use them for free right now until they start their business model with them. So I would take advantage of that while he's free to see if that might be something that you are interested in the future. And then also don't forget they have their Rune TGE in September, which you can actually participate in a pre-sale right now at OpenSea. If you search Emblem Founder Vaults, you can see it is an ERC 721 right now. But if you purchase one of those in September, they're going to give you instructions on how to get those Bitcoin runes out of the vault into your Bitcoin wallet. So pretty unique and cool way that they're doing that. Head over to emblem.vision to learn about their entire product suite. They got a lot of exciting things coming, guys. And then Artura Finance is right around the corner from mainnet. They're going to launch here at Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2 and also Botonics Bitcoin Layer 2. And so both of those launches are going to be really exciting. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens like Dog Go to the Moon, $1 billion cat, as well as the tokens that are popular outside of the Bitcoin ecosystem like XRP, Tau, and Ethereum. But if you're not a trader and you just want to participate in passive way to earn, you can add liquidity to their vaults, and you can earn that way. Head over to artura.finance to dig into their docs, and you can head over to their Discord if you have any questions as well. And then FluidTokens, we just talked to Raul not long ago. They are constantly adding new products to the Bitcoin and Cardano ecosystems, guys. They were the first to offer staking vaults. So if you are a Bitcoin ordinal founder, or you etched a rune, you have an established community, and you want to allow your community to earn through staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1, head over to their Discord, ask them any question you have. They'll get you guys set up there. You can use their airdrop tool to airdrop runes to as many people as you want, and very affordable. I used it. It's actually really cheap. And then you can also use their aquarium tool that is on the Cardano side, but you can use your Bitcoin wallet eventually as well to do stuff on Cardano and possibly vice versa. So exciting stuff from that team as well, guys. Head over to fluidtokens.com, dive in. If you have any questions, like I said, head over to their Discord and you can ask their team. And then Tokyo Wallet. These guys are doing amazing things with their multi-chain smart wallet. They started off with a smart wallet because they know that most everybody uses mobile, right? And so that's why they built the smart wallet for the UI experience, right? If you have an iPhone, you can head over to the Apple App Store. If you have a Android, you can head over to the Google Play Store, download it, use it, give us some feedback, and we'll let the team know. But I love using it. You can connect it to the browser, to different swaps. They partnered with aggregator swaps on both Cardano and Bitcoin, Sats Terminal on Bitcoin. I forgot the Cardano one, but get that to you guys next time. But you can head over to Tokyo.io to dig into this team and the product that they have there. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI with their Wizard 0.03 version. You can use their AI to guide you through their ecosystem. Merlin has been doing some huge things with partnerships. They just had Binance, with the main Binance account, mind you, post about their Binance Alpha integration, to where they airdropped a lot of these BNB, or BSC, I should say, community members, right? And they're just really trying to grow the community, and they also got integrated into the Rep BTC DAO as well. But if you're looking to swap for Dog Go to the Moon, you can do so at merlinswap.org, as they do have liquidity pool there. And if you want to help secure the chain, head over to merlinchain.io, click on stake, and you can add your Merlin Chain tokens and earn 15% APR there. So definitely take advantage of that if that's something you're into. And lastly, our integrated partners in Jungle, which was formerly Foxy AI, building Cypher Striker, which is the first-person shooter game in the Bitcoin ecosystem, as well as the Bitverse, which is their the metaverse that they're building as well. They also have a gaming ecosystem with Bitcoin Derby and future games as well. So keep your eye out for them and follow them on X as well. And then Ordinal Hive is the ordinal aggregator marketplace for Bitcoin ordinals. Cheapest ordinals around will be at Ordinal Hive. Thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. If you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you guys know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We have so much for them to learn, guys. It's actually one of the best places to onboard somebody. And if you guys need a VPN, use NordVPN. It's my personal favorite. I actually have 2 accounts now. I have over, for one account, you get up to 5 devices. Some of you guys only need one, probably. I'm probably just nuts and have it on every device. Probably don't need it, but I pay $66 for 2 years. I think it's $3 a month, right? Lock it in, forget it, and that is amazing. You don't want to be going to these sites giving away your IP address. It's stupid. It's not, it's not a good idea. And some of them don't even let you go because you're in the US. But with a VPN, there's nothing stopping you. Get on pretty much any site. Any site you want. And if you guys are going to Bitcoin Vegas, we do have the tickets here. They are super expensive now. But if you do buy the tickets, buy them through us and buy them with Bitcoin. You do get a discount for that. And if you guys need merch for that event or any event, check out our store tab. That'll take you to our third-party Shopify. And you guys can get shirts, hats, jackets, school bags, and so much more, all at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until Monday.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.